all your rabbis, all your commentators, and the ways that they twisted and perverted Moses. And now we're 2,000 years removed even from that. 6,000 page Talmud and all these different things where like you can drive around on the Sabbath because we put a wire outside of the city of Manhattan and that counts as a wall. And so technically you're never leaving your house because it's a big house. Cool. You know, like, it's like, that is so Jewish.
Artie and Fist, Artie and Fist. You can be sure that they're both on a list. Artie and Fist, Artie and Fist. You can be sure that we make them kiss. Streaming through history, I'm covering mysteries as to why the whites are living in misery. We keep the audience salivating as we continue navigating through centuries of adventures of the ever-evolving small hat wizardry.
Here's more footage of Alex Preddy reaching into his pants and flinging feces at ICE agents.
Artie and Fist, Artie and Fist. Let us show you what you might have missed.
But we also do recognize that they are subversive because they're disconnected from Christ. They're disconnected from God.
And it looks like we're live. Oh, mate, it's so good to be back. I had to get a special dispensation to get unfrozen this week. It turns out Avi's quite busy because of the release of the Epstein files, and he didn't go into details. Something about Gates, and so I had to get like special dispensation to be thawed out. As of course, as you know, Artie, I have now reached an arrangement to pay off my loan by basically sort of being like frozen and having like a portion of my brain used to run AI models on. Apparently it's relatively painless. Although I do what do you mean relatively painless? Well, I do have these weird dreams where I'm like serving like recipes to Indian housewives. But okay. Apart from that, it's basically okay. Hey, and compared to what you've been through, that ain't that bad, okay? In the grand scheme of things.
I've been assured that the brain damage will be hardly noticeable. And look, after 20 years, I would have paid off all of my debt, as long as the interest rate doesn't change and, the company doesn't go out of business, but it should be fine.
it should always be fine. Okay. But
yeah,
but when's the last time it was fine though, Fist? I feel like he's kind of giving you the runaround. I don't want to tell you how to live your life or anything, but it seems like there's always something preventing you from paying off this debt. If I was to give you my honest, friendly opinion.
Look, that's just the way it goes, man. Right? Like Avi has assured me that it's not his fault. It's the market. It's all very complicated.
Yeah, but okay, hold on. I know he's assuring you that it's not his fault, but that's what he would say if it was his fault, right? So it seems like you're believing everything he's saying, but do you think there's a chance that maybe he's kind of misleading you? It kind of seems like the story changes every time we talk when we open the show.
Listen, man, don't go there. You want my fucking interest rate to go up? Right? Want my bank account to get shut down, right? They're literally warehousing LLMs on my brain at this point. Shut your mouth. No, look, I've been assured, right, that as long as I don't say anything spicy, right, and at some point I got to thaw out and and go and kiss the wall and all that kind of stuff. Everything will be fine, right? And and so I'm just gonna obey and comply and just throw myself on the mercy of the financial moose, because if there's one thing they are known for, it is their great mercy and forbearance, right? They'll forgive you for anything, really.
such nice people, really.
Well, I mean, if granted you're not Christian and white, it seems like they're very forgiving. It just seems like outside of that demographic, what you're saying is true. I mean, last stream I was bumming out and I was thinking of joining them, you know, because you do have the option of becoming a moo, you know. It's on one hand it's immutable, but on the other hand you can also become the immutable thing, you know. So they are very accepting.
I'm not sure that's really true. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you convert, you'll always be like a lesser moo, right? like
well, obviously
like a mooshling or something. I think they call it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you can attend things and whatnot, but when they have like, you know, you're not going to the Diddy party, so to speak. You know, that's for the OGs.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I was advised that I could get a blackectomy or a blackiotomy or something like that, right? Like where I I get changed into a person of melanation. But that's very expensive. I mean, you know, obviously Avi said that he could get me really good finance terms on it.
No.
Right?
Wait. Why would you want to do that?
Well, because what's
that going to do for you?
Well, you know, because then I could say that I was part of an oppressed underclass.
No, dude, just be trans and like suck a dick. It's way less money. I mean, you've already done, you know, 20 films that we're not going to mention.
Then I'd have to like let them fiddle with my junk again, right? And I'm just not about that, mate. Right?
You've closed that door behind you, literally.
You know what they say? The first cut is always the deepest.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So how you doing, mate?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good because, fellas, I'm doing a stream tomorrow, Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because my good name, appears as though it was invoked. PF Young, who I've made some videos on, talked to Benjamin Boyce, and let me show you what they've said, and I'm going to do a full react stream tomorrow. So let me just pop this on screen and give you guys a little sneak peek of what I'll be talking about.
Rhetorically Defective is actually doing really well, and I wanted to have him on because he kind of basically started from nowhere, and now he's doing a lot of engagement. He's getting a lot of engagement, and I wanted to understand the deeper aspects of him. I had him on, and I got in a lot of trouble for that. People went after my wife because I'm descending into anti-Semitism and I talked to him for 2.
I'll have some things to say about that tomorrow. It's kind of my whole arc I've been pushing, where the meaning of that word kind of only means one thing. Definition of a word is its application in society, and obviously its application in society is harassing Ben's wife. So let's continue.
2 hours about why does he center identity, and he's very squirrely. He's like, what are you talking about? You sound like a postmodernist, which is a total postmodernist trope. It's like, if once you start centering any given identity, you're going to reduce everybody into fighting for and over identity, and you're going to trigger the exact thing that you're criticizing, I guess, the Jews for being. That you're going to trigger their ethnocentrism by calling them out over and over.
Pause this. Wait. You're going to trigger the Moorish ethnocentrism? Are you freaking kidding me?
Hey, I have the power to get his wife harassed, okay?
My brother in Christ, that ship has already sailed
a
long time ago.
No,
Holy crap.
I have that power, okay?
There's no equality in this. And that's one of Rhetorically Defective's really good points. It's like, what does anti-Semitism actually mean? What does racism actually mean? It's a way to inflict double standards, specifically on for the time being, demographically dominant group in the West, which is Europeans.
It's so funny you were talking about Rhetorically Defective. I think he made a video complaining that I clipped him out of context. Complete bullshit. But that's okay. I listen. It's very good for it's. I have plenty of.
That's a coy little smirk. I've made an edited video and a stream showing exactly what he does, and I'll be going more into that tomorrow. Spoiler alert: very mooish tactic.
I have plenty of clips of people on the left calling me a Nazi. I need more of it on the right. So I do appreciate Rhetorically.
Wait, did you call him a Nazi?
Why are you saying that? Did he make it seem like I did by any chance?
Yeah, well, that's what I took away from it, right? Like
Right.
as
But
the uninterested viewer.
Did he technically say I said that? He technically didn't say it. So,
But did you? I mean,
No!
I know
why would I
that
do
you
that?
are.
He's a centrist.
I know that you're noted for going around like just like throwing the N word around, everywhere. Like not that N word, right? The other N word, right? The snazzy word, right? I mean, I can believe it. Look at his haircut. I am immediately believing what this guy is saying.
It's just odd how he makes it seem. He keeps making it seem like I'm doing something, but he's not quite saying I'm doing it. Odd.
Saying it without saying it.
Yeah.
He's on the down low.
There's plenty of leftists who hate the woke shit, who are like, I'm not guilty about being white at all, and fuck that. And they watch my channel. And it's like, so, when rhetorically defective is like, P.F. Young is buying into a leftist framework. What he doesn't realize is that to be leftist means to want to kill you. It's like, okay, I mean, there's a certain level which anyone who has, I was saying, okay, well, I'm not going to explain to a schizophrenic.
Full mischaracterization, implied I called him a Nazi, and now I have the gaslighting of I'm a schizophrenic if I think that, I don't know, racism and anti-Semitism. Did the right wing create those, Paul?
That was a pretty good impression that he did of you, though, mate.
Nailed it. Spot on. If he wants to roll in the mud,
Why? Elvis Presley's not really there. I'm just going to go, okay, that's fair. And if, I like how rhetorically defective put it. Freedom of association is the most basic liberal principle, and these liberals aren't living up to it. Fair enough. I expect the same from the right. The moment you say that someone's mixed race child is an abomination, you are my enemy.
I love it, but Destiny's not his enemy, okay? He talks to Destiny all the time. Very friendly, but that's why he has to invoke his Christianity, by the way. That's why he says he's a Christian. So he can say when the pagans, they're really, really racist, and I'm a good man. Anyway, that'll be really fun tomorrow.
Mate, I still feel like you need a Christian on. Who?
They are going to talk about some Christian stuff.
Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of religion in tonight's episode. We got Jeremy Boring. We've got Fuentes and Webbon. We got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna have the kosher centrist interpretation of liberalism, and then the more dissident right, Nick Fuentes, Joel Webbon, probably the vast majority of my audience sharing the opinion that essentially liberalism is communism, more or less. That's what it leads to. So, gonna have a more substantial critique of that. So I lie somewhere in the middle of that.
We got a couple of super chats.
Oh, did we, Nye?
We do. Point curation for 2 Canadian loonies, a weird ass super sticker. I believe it was like a
picture.
It was like a pair saying like, "Hey you, thanks very much."
Why don't you describe his picture? It's just
his profile picture.
It's just a guy smoking a pipe.
Smoking a pipe. Yeah, with a protuberance in the pipe. Waffle donated 10 memberships.
Wow.
Look at him go.
I'm not ready. He caught me with my pants down. I'm not ready.
Thanks very much, Waffle. Oh, mate, you can't stop him. He's a madman. And Kevin 11 for $2. Artie is having a generational run before GTA 6.
Wow. Is it my generational run? Is that what this is? Is that what I'm experiencing?
So. And Waffle for $5. Who has a funnier accent, fist or spoon?
Well,
mine obviously is more listenable too.
For those of you that follow me on X, I will be opening tomorrow's stream with a little bit of spoon action, a little bit of aristocratic utensil action, as I got some things to say, and I want to show people how someone isn't an enemy. You can have an oppositional stance without making them an enemy. Also, I agree. Fists. Insane. What?
Spoon sounds smarter. He does not. I am offended now. Oh my God, goodness me.
He sounds more confident, I would say.
Perhaps I need to start talking in an Afrikaans accent, and perhaps that would make me sound smarter.
Don't even try and do the Afrikaner, dude. It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. All accents start with UK and Australian accents, and then they try to do like an Irish accent from there, or a Scottish or an Afrikaner. Those are the parents of those accents.
It's like the Uber accent, the accent, you know.
Yeah.
So you're starting off.
I'm driving. Okay.
You're driving. Okay, mate. Drive us.
It happened. Don Lemon got arrested. So,
oh no, bros. No, not Don Lemon. No.
The Don Lemon show over here wasn't hosted by Don Lemon. It was hosted by another lady. And this is from a few hours ago, so I couldn't clip it. It's that fresh. It's very wet behind the ears. So I'm going to try and just guide us through this because I want to hear what she has to say. This is like the official press release for Don Lemon, and you'll only get it here. So let's try it out.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us, Lemon Nation. I'm Monique Presley. I am guest host.
There's Melanation, then there's Lemonation.
For our friend, our brother, our journalist, who we all have been able to count on for the past 3 decades, Don Lemon. You know, guys, that I'm here with you frequently and often. And one of the things that we always talk about is the importance of independent media. We talk about how much it's necessary for us to support those who are out doing the work every single day. And
does she mean like Ham Higby or Nick Sortor? She couldn't mean Don Lemon, right?
He's an independent journalist. Look, Lemon is out there every day being black and being gay, right? And just, you know, right? Like, and he's
the most independent things you can do, not backed by any institutions.
And his black gayness, right, is a shining gay beacon, right, to the left, right? I presume. I mean, I thought after he got fired, he was just doing like shitty TikToks and stuff. That's all I've seen.
No, this is 26,000 people live on his channel.
Bro, so seriously?
Yeah, he pulls in a lot from it.
Mate, look, seriously, right? Like on for real, we should both get like, you know, a blackectomy, right? Like a blackoplasty, right? We could both go black and become leftists, and then maybe we could get 26,000 live viewers, right? One of us just get arrested, right?
What is that movie with Thomas C. Howell? This is what we're going to end up looking like. Soul Man. That's what it was.
Soul Man. That's right.
Do you remember that?
I do.
So here's what I don't want to look like. Okay. That's what I don't want to look like. Okay. Now, this was in the 80s, and that was the whole movie, and they just let them do that. But I'm assuming the technology is a lot. Look at they didn't even look at the hair they gave him.
It's got a certain something, like a kind of Michael Jackson feel to it, you know?
I don't know, man. Hopefully the technology's better, like with how like hair restoration, they used to like put a slit in the back of your head and there used to be a scar there, but like now it's a lot better. So I'd have to look at the technology now.
Adi, if you did go black, what would be your black name? I want to be Don Quavius.
It would be something with a dash in it. I've always wanted to have like, you know, like how they have like for the females, LaDasha. I mean, honestly, a regular football name. I know you don't do sports ball, okay?
I don't.
Are you aware of how insane the football names are?
I'm generally aware of the insanity of American black names because I learned.
The name Jadavian Clowney is a real name. We could do an easy 30 minutes on just looking up their insane names, but
yeah. Sorry. Back to Don Lemon. Sorry, right.
That support is needed more than ever today for independent journalists like Don, who I'm honored to guest host for this morning, and like Georgia Fort, who was also arrested last night. The information that we have so far, and we'll be sharing as much as we can with you throughout this hour, is that Don was arrested late last night in Los Angeles. He's there, as you all know, for the Grammys. He is scheduled to be live on the red carpet covering Grammy events. And he was arrested by federal agents in Los Angeles around midnight. And he has released the following statement through his attorney, Abby.
Now, what I love about this, he was covering the Grammys, and you know his gay black ass. That was his night, right?
Oh, mate.
They actually took an important moment from him, which really, retribution-wise, I know to us, like, missing the Grammys, so what? Oh, no. He probably had a fancy little shiny suit on, and he was so excited to talk to all the celebrities and schmooze and whatnot, and that was taken from him.
Oh, no, like not to mention like the after the orgies afterwards. You know, right?
Oh,
like,
that you're not joking.
So, he missed out on so much famous butt pounding, I'm sure, right? Like, you know, truly a tragedy.
Yeah, I forgot about all the orgies. You, as always, remember them. So let's continue.
Don Lemon was taken into custody by federal agents last night in Los Angeles, where he was covering the Grammy Awards. Don has been a journalist for 30 years, and his constitutionally protected work in Minneapolis was no different than what he has always done. The First Amendment.
Now, they always do this. He was on private property in a church, right?
Yep.
So and this is what P.F. Young does. Do you see what she said is constitutionally protected work, but that's not addressing his transgression? See?
Oh yeah, like plus, right? I read the actual indictment, and like, so, you know, while those parents were there, like in church, like a bunch of their kids were in another room doing like Sunday school, right? And they blocked the entrance, right? Stopped the parents from getting to their kids. Then went in and like told the kids their parents were like Nazis and they're going to like hell and all this sort of like, what the action? Like, oh my god.
Like,
that is not cool.
Journalists whose role is to shine light on the truth and hold those in power accountable.
So see how this has nothing to do with the incident. Who is in power there? The guy wasn't even there that they were trying to find. The ICE guy wasn't even there.
Oh, I thought the guy they were hassling, the priest, was like
no, that wasn't the ICE guy. Now the ICE guy is a pastor there. But the guy that works for ICE wasn't even there that day.
There is no more important time for people like Don to be doing this work. Instead of investigating the federal agents who killed 2 peaceful Minnesota protesters, the Trump justice...
Peaceful? Well, yeah, there was some new footage that came out that I put in the video on Wednesday. Yeah, on Wednesday of Alex Pretty, where he like kicked out, you know, a taillight a few days before. So, and then people go, so that means he deserves to be shot. It goes, no, that means he wasn't peaceful. Stop.
Man,
Stop.
That freeze frame is like amazing. When your Botox go wrong.
Yeah, when your skin suit starts slipping.
This department is devoting its time, attention, and resources to this arrest. And that is the real indictment of wrongdoing in this case.
So free Don Lemon and Georgia Fort. That's right. We got Georgia Fort 2.0 happening right now. Somehow this woman's name is Georgia Fort. So she was an accomplice with Don Lemon, which I will show her getting arrested in a few minutes.
Precedented attack on the First Amendment and transparent attempt to distract attention from the many crises facing this administration will not stand. Don will fight these charges vigorously and thoroughly in court. I see many of you saying free Don Lemon, and of course that's what we are demanding, that he be released immediately, and we want the...
Now let's bring on, here we go. Now, of course,
my friend.
We have Black Brilliance, which this is just created by the Moose, this guy's entire identity on the right.
Wait, did you just say free Don Lemon? I'll take 10. Sorry.
That's about the going price of Don Lemon, I would say. That's about MSRP on a Don Lemon.
Oh my god.
So we got to bring this guy in. It was an all-star. It was a star-studded cast. Okay, they had Brian Tyler Cohen on here. They had what? Akilah Always, the woman that tried to sue Sargon of Akkad and lost ridiculously, was on here. So probably DL Hughley as well. So an all-star cast. But this guy's going to break it down for us. Black Brilliance, of course, we have the double standard where he gets to be black. He like, you notice how Asians don't have like Asian smart on their shirt. They're just smart. Same thing with the Moose. Like,
I could probably rock a white Brilliance jersey or something. Right. You know, why not? You know.
Okay, let's see what he has to say.
And my brother, he's a former prosecutor. He's a
they're related.
Commentator. MSNBC and elsewhere. Welcome, Charles. Good morning.
Good morning, Monique. Thanks for having me.
Well, Don's having us, Charles.
This is true. This is true.
And what an odd time for us to be in. We actually on this show a number of times in the past couple of weeks have had the conversation about this very thing. We've discussed what this started with in Minnesota, which was a group of protesters, not Don, who's a journalist, not Georgia, who's a journalist, a group of protesters staged a pop-up.
Just magical. It's like protesters and journalists are just magical phrases, aren't they? It's like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
what did the journalist or protester do?
Well, look, you're gonna understand, right? Like if you're a journalist, particularly if you're a journalist of color or a journalist of minority status, you can just do whatever the fuck you want, right? Like, did you not understand this, right? It says right there in the Constitution, right? I believe it's like the 23rd Amendment, right? All journalists of color basically have immunity to like all laws. God, how do I know this and you don't, Hardy? Goodness.
Yeah, you're not even here, bro. You couldn't possibly know that. You haven't magic soiled yourself.
A protest at a church in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Don was covering that event.
He was covering the event.
News story. And now we find that Don has been arrested and, according to the DHS, charged under 18 USC 241 and 248. What are your initial thoughts?
Well, Monique, one of the things that we may have been able to sort of read the tea leaves to determine that was confirmed today, apparently by the wife of Stephen Miller, is that Don Lemon and as well as the other journalist, Georgia, who was arrested after apparently these things went to a grand jury. They were presented in front of a grand jury. And the reason that's significant is because the federal government ran out of options effectively when they went to a magistrate judge and they could not secure an arrest warrant, and then they appealed that, and they could not have that appeal granted. And so their attempts to go through a magistrate judge in order to secure—
None of this happened on January 6th, right? Where they were just trying to land charges however they could.
No, of course not. Come on, what are you been smoking, mate? Right? Like January 6th was an instant erection. The worst day of violence, like ever happened. Oh my God.
41, if anyone's looking this up, Section 241 of 18 U.S. Code, it is referred to as a conspiracy against rights, which makes it a federal crime for two or more persons to conspire to injure, threaten, or to intimidate anyone in the United States in the free exercise or enjoyment of any constitutional or statutory right. Violations can result in fines up to 10 years in prison or up to life imprisonment or death if certain serious crimes result. The other statute that appeared
Wait, there's a possible death penalty attached.
Well, depending on what happens in conjunction with the activities.
Don Lemon, you have been found guilty of disrupting a white church.
You are sentenced to being hung from a tree in a public square. And somehow they're going to call that racist. Just listen to him. Watch.
Appears that Don was charged under is 18 USC Section 248, which is known as the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances, or the FACE Act of 1994. This is a federal law that prohibits the use of force, threat of force, or physical obstruction to intentionally injure, intimidate, or interfere with anyone obtaining or providing reproductive health services or exercising First Amendment rights at a place of worship. So that last statute was intended to protect people who are seeking reproductive care or to exercise their right, what had previously been a right to abortion, and abortion clinics primarily.
What was previously a right? Do you like how they're rights or wants, by the way? It used to be a right. We'll get that right back. Rights are just things that come and go, right?
I love how they just like write these laws and it never occurs to them that like they might ever be caught by them, right? Like the subtext of this is like obvious, right? This isn't meant to apply to us. This is meant to apply to like Whitey, you know?
I was pretty black-pilled, and they arrested Don Lemon. That was very surprising.
Yeah,
Yep.
Sorry, we got some super chats.
Not a problem.
Christos, 5 months membership. Thank you, mate.
Bruv.
Did the Klan laws just catch a black gay? Yeah, it looks like they did.
It looks like it. That's what they were designed to do.
Big time. $10. Hatred for his silverback countryman is legendary. No shame and no fear. You're a close second. We will reach Deuteronomy levels soon. I appreciate that. Deadpool Kid for $5. GPK.
GPK.
Don Lemon, I got sad news. 1, you're gay. 2, you're black. I'm sorry. Limiting Principle Podcast. Hey, Patrick, how's it going, mate? For $2. Rhetorically negative.
Negative. YouTube, that's a made-up word, okay?
And Master Shake for $2. Paternally defective.
Naturally.
Big time with for another $10. God,
there
we
it is,
go.
Thank you, bro.
Where's the thing? Right. Yeah, threaten my kids in my church. You must really want to meet Jesus. That's okay. We can meet him together.
Yeah,
precisely.
That's one way to meet Jesus.
Yeah,
very nice.
Indeed. Ordered party member for 2 months. Fun fact: lizard people molt every 8.5 months. Follow me on X. Find me at Ardent Plays on Rumble and beat the black off the like button.
One of the most vicious moderators in the game. Okay.
Yeah. Check him out. Thanks, Ardent.
Hardline.
Right, we got more of this negritude.
Yep. This will be wrapping up soon, and we'll be moving right along.
Early, and then the First Amendment piece around houses of worship had been added on, and the first piece was essentially about obstructing the ability for people to go and worship. Again, I want to stress to viewers that regardless of what the statutes say, and regardless of what we may have seen in various videos, we do not know how the prosecutors in this case framed the facts in front of this particular grand jury that returned the indictment. What I will say before we go further, Monique, is that I think, however, it is telling, MS Now reporter Carol Linning earlier today confirmed that there were career DOJ prosecutors in both Minnesota, where this took place, as well as
he brings up the KKK
notion that I've had, which is part of his the charges into and its difficulty, the punishment for Don.
So when he brings up the KKK,
He's looking at it.
He brings that up to go, see, now this was supposed to be for the KKK, and then this is proof that the right wing studies like the habits of the late 1800s and wants to bring them back. Was the point that he made.
Love it. God, everything is the freaking KKK. Remember when that dude tried to do that hate crime hoax because he found a garage door rope pull, and he was like, "Oh my god!" Someone oh my god.
So now this does bring us to his co-conspirator, and let's just watch her get a little arrested and see how she handles it.
Okay,
just a little arrested.
Yes. Okay.
I just love how giant her house is too. All these people.
Okay. Well, this is really scary. There's kids.
The size of those windows.
You guys have not been really friendly in the community. And to me, this seems a little, can I finish, sir? Can I finish?
Please, can I finish?
Get your phone. This seems a little bit aggressive to have all these cars in our cul-de-sac, 2 or 3 agents, and now
I love it how all these people like to say everybody wants to be black, but when it comes to time to be black, nobody wants to be black. It's like you live in a white person's house, speaking like a white person, acting like a Karen right now. I just think I am feeling like this is very aggressive right now.
Oh
this person isn't privileged at all, right?
That house is freaking huge,
right, dude?
God, I'm jealess. Holy crap, right?
In London, the community.
Be like a $4 million house in London.
She could fit the whole community in her house.
Literally.
Disappear to the back. So to me, this is a little aggressive to just serve a warrant. Slide the warrant. Let me see the warrant.
Wow. It feels really good. I was so black-pilled, fella. This is why you can't black pill. It's a waste of time. I was mad because nothing ever happens, right? We've been saying nothing ever happens. Well, even no matter what happens, the fact that he was taken from the Grammys is fantastic. And of course, we have to include fucking Afro Pick Peter over here, who works, by the way, for the nation. Okay.
Is that what you call it when they have a comb sticking out of their head like that? An Afro pick? Is that the
that is what it's called. It's Afro pick.
Okay.
And just so you know, he works for the nation, if you can believe it, which is progressive and it started off as The Liberator. And it went from 1831 to like 1865, oddly enough. And then it morphed incredibly. And once you know who gets their hands on it, and by you know who, I mean Dorothy Schiff over here got her hands on it for 40 years.
Any
and
relation?
The same sense.
Any relation to Jacob Schiff? Oh yes, it's his granddaughter. Oh, imagine that. Yeah,
in just an absolute twist of fate there. I know it's hard to believe.
Yeah.
So let's see what he sounds like.
It is an expression of white supremacy. And so when I look for constitutional justification for these arrests, it's obviously not in the Constitution. It's obviously not in the Constitution anymore. Because there was something in the original Constitution that would have allowed them to arrest a black journalist like Don Lemon. And that was called the Fugitive Slave Clause in Article 4 of the original Constitution, which allowed the government to reclaim escaped property should that property have successfully made it to a free state. It is an
Bitch, please. Well, the only thing Lemon is a slave to is being pounded in the booty. Like, my God.
We try and make you swing from a branch, but it'd break you, fat motherfucker. So let me just pass it on over to Fist over here. Okay. What I included in the intro, I didn't even know that Fist was going to bring it up and actually knows the guy as well. But more on that in just a moment.
Yeah, well, we've got a little bit more on the Lemon Party.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Fellas, do you know what the Lemon Party is, fellas? In the chat, let us know if you know what visit lemonparty.org if you don't know what it is.
So you may be familiar with this particular person of Levantine extraction. This is the guy from TMZ. Remember, he was like roasting Eric Arvold for daring to want to have like a white-only space out in the goddamn Ozarks, like on the other side of the freaking like country. Let's see what he has to say about the Lemon Party.
So the Trump administration wonders why people are saying that they are trying to form a dictatorship. Well, look at the landscape. Arresting Don Lemon, who covered a protest in Minneapolis, is just insane, ridiculous, dictator-like. This is the playbook that dictators use to destroy democracies.
Pause this real quick.
The will of the people away.
I'm going to be saying this about PF Young tomorrow, where it's like, bro, you're TMZ. You're not known for being moral people. And again, it's a moo in charge of this really, like, you know, ethically questionable industry. Once again, trying to full rank of morality.
Now a break from paying paparazzi to do upskirt pics of famous celebrities. We want to talk to you about a serious moral issue now.
Oh, dude, that would be a Jake TV AI video so easily.
Oh, my God.
It is as simple as that. The First Amendment is the First Amendment for a reason. It is considered the preferred amendment when you have to start balancing what's more important. The framers of the Constitution knew that a free press was essential to a democracy. Without a free press, you don't have a democracy.
No one asked.
Real clear that Donald Trump and company doesn't want a free press. The idea that a journalist, which Don Lemon has been for 30 years, would walk into a church and film a demonstration which is of national interest, and then to say somehow, when you watch the video, they say he's part of the protest. Watch that video. He is covering the protest. He is covering it. That's what journalists do.
I do actually have a clip of him like being part of like the actual thing.
Hey, I did a video on it. I watched all 7 hours of the live stream. I can contextualize anything you could possibly throw at me.
Yeah, no, I don't have it in the thing. Look, man, of course he was like there. My God.
I covered.
No, you sent it in Telegram. You can pull it up if you want.
Did I send it in Telegram?
Yes, you did. You blacked out. You autistically blacked out.
I must have autistically blacked out.
To the very bottom.
Here we go. Found it. So this is Senor Lemon Parte not participating in the protest in question. Remember, bros, he's just a neutral observer. He's just a journalist, a black journalist, the best kind of journalist.
Yeah, that's why he kissed him on the cheek. He was just there impartially.
Yeah, just impartially, right? And this is what Trump wants, right? To destroy our democracy, not your democracy, not everyone's democracy.
Wait,
our democracy.
What does democracy mean? What does this have to do with voting? Because people hear democracy, they assume it means voting, but the way they use democracy, I don't know what it means anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I guess that that definition is quite open to interpretation. I think the way it's basically used is the continuation of the current oligarchy. So anything dangerous to our democracy may endanger the sort of attempt to do a communist revolution in the US. But if you think about it, right, a communist revolution is the best form of democracy because everyone gets to participate.
Yeah, well,
right?
it's not a dictatorship. It's a dictatorship of the people, which is completely different.
That's
Also, fellas, I'm being nagged in chat, as always. Please like the stream. That's it.
Wait, hang on. Let's just do a couple of super chats. We've got a couple coming in.
Yeah, I got time.
Big time again for $5. Thank you, mate.
Thank you, mate.
They always talk about their hate for us, but refuse to live around their own. Yeah, it's funny how that works, right?
Real funny. It's getting hilarious.
KHS for $5. Thank you. Worked a night shift at a truck stop in the seedy part of a majority-minority town. A certain group can't work the self-checkout because they can't read. Oh, bruh. That sounds freaking demoralizing.
Yeah.
So let's
Massachusetts.
So let's hear Don Lemon Partey in his own words.
Doyle.
Let me do this. I can't see anything on that. Okay, I got it. Just park. Just hit park.
Twitch, we're back.
Sunday morning church.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see.
We're after we do this operation, you'll see it live. And these operations are surprise operations. Again, can't tell you where they're going. Okay, so I am going inside now. Where's my phone? I need my phone. Hey, Meta record.
So this is really important. Pause it right here. So from their recollection, they were worshiping, sitting down, and then just tried to ask questions is how she categorized what happened here.
Right. Of course, as you can clearly see on the video.
So activists are now in the church is what the First Amendment is about the freedom to protest. I'm sure people here don't like it, but protests are not comfortable. And there are people here who are, I'm looking at a young man who's in the corner. He's frightened. He's scared. He's crying. People are leaving church. One of the members who looks to be really upset, a young person, the pastor is trying to calm him down over there. Perhaps they should come in, pray together, and talk together. But anyways, if I were the pastor, I would offer a prayer. I would try to calm things down and say,
I would pause it. Why is it to try and calm things down? What is that? Someone breaks into your house and it's your responsibility to calm down the other person. That's odd.
Yeah, I mean, like, what the fuck does this even mean? Like, what the dude up the front is supposed to be like, now everyone settle down. I'll lead us all in a prayer, right? Like what? Like the fucking BLM like people aren't gonna like.
We did that in like a stream or two ago where I'm like, yeah, you want to ask him questions? Yeah, try it. You want to try and talk to this guy? We showed the insane guy with the beard screaming at children there.
Anyway, right. Enough of that. So bit of background on this. This happened in London. No, wait, I think it was a bit outside London. A few days ago. This is the guy from Freedom Watch. What's his name? Montgomery Toms, right? You can check him out, Freedom Watch. Yeah. And he's there with my friend Wilsey, who rather sort of weirdly still seems to think that he lives in a country where people have human rights. I don't know how to disabuse him of this notion. He still seems to think that he's like living in America or something. And so when they try and do like a sort of Charlie Kirk style, this is at some university. Wait, which university is it? He says it in the thing.
London didn't even talk about this beforehand. I put it in the intro and I had no idea he knew about this at all.
The London College of Communications, right? To publicly debate mass deportations. And again,
the College of Communications shutting down the conversation.
This isn't, this isn't America, right? Like the cops are not going to help you, right? This is London, right? So
wait,
enjoy.
Was it considered being racist that they tackled the non-white guy? Was that a racist issue at all?
Well, Wilsey's like half white, so they can just tackle like one half of him. I think.
Hey, your country, your rules, right?
Yeah.
Well, they already have come.
Yeah.
We don't like it because they're trying to take our land.
I have the right to conduct a citizen's arrest, and he is under arrest.
Willsey, you don't have any rights. Like, how many times does this need to, like, mate, like, Willsey's like a fucking legend, right? Like, the last time he got arrested was at some fucking, like, protest. I think it was, like, around COVID, right? And there's this, like, footage of him going around. There's, like, fucking half a dozen police piling on top of him. And he's like, Magna Carta! Magna Carta! Oh, my God. He's a great dude. Fuck you, hilarious. Like, shout out, Willsey, if you're listening.
Retaining him under my police powers. He's not going anywhere. He can sit here until the police arrive. He's biting me. He's biting me.
Who are you telling?
Now, chat, we're going to make a prediction here. When the police arrive, who do you think it is they're going to arrest? Right?
The guy that flipped the table, that had his face covered. Remember in the beginning? How would they not arrest that guy? He's the one that started the altercation, and then they're holding him there under a citizen's arrest. Essentially, you guys, I assume, have that. If someone commits a crime, you're allowed to just subdue them with, proportionate force to make sure they don't go anywhere, so they can be judged for their crime, right?
Well, yes, but no.
Oh, okay.
Right. So technically, yes. But in actuality, no.
He's not going anywhere. He's just attacked me. He's under arrest.
He's under her.
I don't. I just get his arm. Get his other arm. No, this man is under arrest. Oi. Can get off him. Get off him. Cop. Get off him! He's just assaulting me. This is the left guys who've currently just been assaulted for having debates with people.
Pause it real quick.
Just been insulted by a number of people.
Now, this was really important information and an important video to make, I would say, in like 2017, okay? This was a really important thing for us to see in 2017. Fellas, you're just putting yourself in danger at this point. We have so many videos and so many examples of this happening that my heart goes out to you. But I don't know how efficacious it is necessarily. And I know it's wrong what they're doing, but I'm afraid for you. You have no allies, no laws your ally at all whatsoever.
Look at this gorgeous university courtyard. Doesn't it just make your heart stir? Artie, don't you want to just come to London to like experience the beauty, right? The brutalist architecture. Oh, mate,
it's free healthcare, free schools, everything's free.
No. It's not free, right? I mean, if you're a migrant, it's free. But if you're white, you got to like go into like massive debt. It's just like the US in that case.
Come over, flip the table, smashing camera equipment. I grabbed the man who did it, put him under citizen's arrest, asked for the police to be called. University staff have come in, assaulted me, even though I clearly indicated he's under a citizen's arrest. I had him there, so call the police. So I requested that you lot were called, and the university.
I just want to point this out, right? Like this is the quality of
the
London police force. Fuck, man.
He just came from the video game unit of the police department.
We are so fucked. Oh my God.
So I requested
the Muzzies are terrified of that guy.
And the university staff have come in and assaulted me and helped him get away.
Britain needs mass deportations. This is my organisation. Very similar to. That's going to roll people up, isn't it?
Oh my God, dude!
I suggest you don't.
My American blood.
We live in a society where.
Yeah, well, look, you gotta understand, right? Like, you don't want to rile people up. Is like this is the thing about like English policing in its totality now. Basically, the entire point of their existence is just to stop shit kicking off because stuff is like so grim. So whenever like an event like happens, the police's foremost job is just to like make sure stuff doesn't kick off. They don't care like who was right or who was wrong, although they'll basically always sort of like lean towards like, the whites or anyone right wing being like the wrong person.
Yeah, but like, that's gonna make people mad. And it's like, well, what do you think my reaction was to having my table flipped? And then they always just look at the ground. Like,
no. You shouldn't have been there in the first place, right? Like showing up, talking about mass deportation. Like, what are you doing, right? You think you got freedom of speech?
You can't say what a leading polling party in the country is.
Let me see the footage. This is the man who attacked me. Are you going to arrest him?
Step away. Step away.
Wait. Are you going to
step away?
Wait, you ease up. He just went and pushed me really aggressively. You approaching someone else. No, don't touch me. Your colleagues just assaulted me. Learn some Manners. We've been talking with you now. Whoa. How? For what? Help!
Who's gonna help you, bud?
Help! I'm being repressed. Bloody peasant.
Oh man, it really. This is taking the wind out of my sails, man. I'm like, oh, buddy, you had to have known.
I have done no crime. I've been here engaging in a public, peaceful debate, and this is how the police act. This is not acceptable in England. This is meant to be some sort of democracy. We are meant to.
Yeah, it's meant to be a lot of things, Will.
I'm not laughing at him. I'm not laughing at him. The situation
it totally isn't. Like, oh my God.
I have free speech in this country, and my ancestors went through 2 world wars.
Look at the level of force used as well.
You are criminals. You're violent Tuesday criminals. The minute you knew what was on that banner, you decided, let's go for him.
And everybody clapped.
Oh yeah. I remember this stuff from Tommy Robinson from like 10 years ago when he was in a crowd speaking and everyone just starts booing him and he's barely even saying anything controversial. He's just saying the truth about Muzzies.
People disgust me. You are corrupt. You are Sadiq Khan's lapdogs. You're
Say one thing about Wilsey. He does know how to put on like a good media incident. He's like great at that. Whenever he's getting like hauled off by the cops, he's always got like something spicy to say. It's awesome.
Stop, Stafford. You're a Stasi.
Why is the guy that assaulted me not arrested?
What? You think I've done? Yeah, hurt me some more.
Oh, real quick, Be Straight to Capitalism sent this to me, and I forgot to include it, so I'm glad he sent it to me. It's be very, very quick. If it's too low, I'll say what she's saying.
We have belly chains around our waist, and we had handcuffs.
We have chains
with bars in the middle
and handcuffs around us.
As someone who majored in African American studies, I can tell you that is the closest I ever felt to slavery in my life.
That's the closest I ever felt to slavery in my life. I had to include that. I forgot to include it.
God damn.
Every time. Did you guys know about Nazis and slavery? Did you guys hear about those?
I think I may have heard something about it like once.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't want to beat you over the head with it. I also have a Rumble rant as well.
All right. So Molokay for 20 secs. Thank you very much. Hello, fellas. Europe is fucked. Don't look, Molokay, don't worry. They've just signed a migration agreement with India. So millions of Indians have come over and that's going to like fix everything, right? I have it on on good account.
Yeah. All you guys have to do is import people that are already English, but they're just not English yet into the country, right? They're just not English yet.
Yeah, no. Look, as soon as they like step off the boat or the plane, right, and their like bare feet touch the concrete, of the tarmac, they are just instantly converted into Englishmen. It's an amazing, like honestly, they should like study this effect. It's incredible. Wait, hang on. We also got we got a couple proper super chats.
Oh, proper.
Deadpool Kid for $10 US. Thank you very much, mate. I'll say this, guys, we need to start finding like-minded individuals and form our own groups, start protecting one another and learn to rely on alternatives like cash, skills, and not Fed posting. Indeed. A lot of people have been doing just that. And Dillybod for $10. Thank you, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Oh, wait, hang on. I need
proper.
Why are we watching vids about Europe? They are a lost cause. Because I'm there, you bastard.
Do you want to know why? Because they're white, okay? That's why. Because because you can trash Europe all you want. The left's gonna be back in power in the United States, okay? You think they're gone?
I missed one. So thank you for reminding me. Crumbum for $5. If pessimism is despair, optimism is cowardice and stupidity, is there any need to choose between them? Francis Yockey, the clear pill only.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's the idea that between the black pill and the white pill is the clear pill. It's like is the glass half full or half empty?
This generation's on too many pills as it is. Do we really need another one?
They're very powerful. They're very powerful pills. And Molokay for another 20 secs. Thank you, mate. I do feel hopeless. Yes, yes, we all do.
Yeah, well, that is the point. I felt hopeless on Tuesday's stream, you know?
It's called being European. Right. So, okay.
And we have a Rebel Rand from Kalergi for $5.
Oh, nice.
Thank you, mate. My black name would be Quandarius, after the man and legend Quandarius Cartwright. He stabbed a white man trying to give him money, stole his car, and spent the money in a strip club until the cops arrived. Wow. Really a master of his craft. There must be if there's a statue of George Floyd, there must be a statue of this guy somewhere, right? He meets the criteria, I think.
I believe he formed the logical sort of allegory called Quandarius's quandary. You know, do you escape from the cops or do you hang out in the club?
One of the most famous niggasophical razors there are.
That's right, exactly. Right. So okay, well, like wait, Wilsey's out of jail. Let's just play a little bit of this quickly.
Okay, I'm out. He's out, and it has been over 24 hours now since the altercation happened outside of London College of Communications, where I was debating students. I was assaulted. Will stepped in and protected me, and then the police in turn eventually arrested Will. And you can go and have a look at that footage. But go and have a look at that. But Will, what happened?
Okay, so I can't say much because this is going to lawyers. Obviously, the lawyers.
Oh yeah, he can't actually talk about it too much because it's a live case. But yes, Wilsey's okay. Bless you, Wilsey. I hope you're all right, mate. I hope the cops don't like treat you too badly. We both know that they will though, because you're right wing, innit? Right. So, oh mate, we're already an hour in. I can't believe it. So we have titled this portion of the show. What did we? Various Millery. Yes, we. So you may recall a while back, Kanye West apologized to a rabbi, and I said at the time, they're not going to forgive you because they're not, right? And you should have just the look on the rabbi's face was not in any way sort of like forgivenessy. What's the word I'm looking for? Forgiving. So don't worry though. Rabbi Shmuley has taken some time out from his dildo business to offer Kanye some words of advice, right? Like, as from an old friend, with his heart full of caring and compassion.
Watch what happens. Take a ball, you hit it hard, and all of it interacts. When Kanye West brings his anti-Semitism and says Heil Hitler, when he says Heil Hitler, look how many people it affects. You hear it in all the nightclubs.
This is a James Lindsay analogy.
Being driven into the most famous synagogue in the United States tonight. If you watch the gram over and over again to try to get in and run over those little boys, that's what.
Oh yeah, there was that synagogue attack. Well, not just a synagogue attack, the synagogue attack, right? Because like this happened at the Chabad main headquarters in Crown Heights, 770. Truly a despicable attack. Check it out, guys.
Yo, everyone move.
Move.
What's he doing? What is he doing?
Oh, yo!
What's wrong with the guy? Someone. Good. Yo, we gotta get killed. We're gonna kill you.
Oh, he's gonna need a paint job on that core. They're gonna need to fix those doors.
Move out. What is this? I don't know. Officer, hey, officer.
It's slipped.
Yeah, that's him. Stop him. Shut it off. I'm gonna call him.
So who was it who perpetrated this horrible attack, right? Was it a white supremacist? Was it a friend of Kanye West? Well, no.
What?
There he is. He's like literally inside 770 dancing.
Yeah, but that's like really mooey though. That's not like a secular. That's not like a whoever the CEO of TMZ is. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That would be an AI video of who this guy is.
It's the same guy. Same jacket, same hair, same beard. It's the same freaking guy, right? Clearly, right? Like, you know, he's got that noble European phenotype going on. But don't worry, bros, right? Rabbi Shmuley is here to give us the don't make that freeze frame.
Okay. All right. Come on. How did you do that? What sorcerer did you use to do that?
Look, it's not me. It just, you know, the magic just.
You gave him the white filter, huh?
Yeah.
Heil Hitler leads. So kind of, let me have a conversation with you for a moment. You know, it was a step, I have to admit, that you took out a full-page ad in the Wall Street Journal, respected publication, to apologize to the Jews. Do you really mean it? I can show you how you can mean it.
Do you really mean it? We have to know if you really mean it. You're not just allowed to like say that you're sorry. We have to really know. We have to get inside your brain and dig around a little bit.
But like, why does he sound like he's about to evaporate his kneecaps with a baseball bat? Like, why does he sound like he's in the mob, being like, "Hey, you know, I know you said you're sorry, but like, we've been talking to a lot of the guys, and we don't feel like you're very sorry at all. You know, words are one thing, but actions, well, those are a whole different thing altogether. You know what I'm saying, Kanye?
Yeah, that's a nice pair of kneecaps you got there, Kanye. It'd be a shame if anything happened to it. You know, perhaps you'd like to go and kiss the wall.
In the Eastern Parkway tomorrow, turn up, get on your freaking knees, and beg the people for forgiveness. You're a very wealthy man. Make a major donation to Holocaust education. Announce tomorrow at a press conference right outside 770 Eastern Parkway that you are going to make your song Heil Hitler absolutely forbidden from ever being played.
Dude, I love it. Can pause it real quick. I love how in their world you just make something go away, right? Is that why they hate Mustache Man so much? Because he was using their strategy? You just make it forbidden. How do you, as an intellectual property, how do you make it forbidden? How would you even? This is how their brains work.
Well, I imagine he would want to pass like a law, a specific law that would say like anyone playing this song will get like 5 years jail, right? And if maybe if you were just there when it was played, you'd only get like 6 months. But if you played it maliciously and with intent, you get like 5 years, right? This is what they want, right?
Isn't it a litigious religion essentially?
Yeah.
Like when they go to when they go to synagogue, do they have a liturgy? You know, they hold hands around and pray to the law above.
Way that nobody says the Horst Wegel song, the main Nazi song. This stuff, all of it, is actually forbidden in Germany. Here we have a First Amendment, so you can say how much you hate Jews all you want. Then why should you be forgiven? I'm challenging you, Kanye. You know, there was a time that I was actually impressed with you. I remember when you did
oh my dude. This is what a female does to when we were first dating, I really liked you, and then as time went on, it just kind of feels like you changed. But, I believe in redemption, if you change, and by change, I mean, do whatever the fuck I tell you to do, then I think we could maintain this relationship. Now I am going to continue to cheat on you, and you're going to tell you to stay with me. This is the most toxic way to say this.
It impressed me. Here was one of the greatest rappers in the world, and often content of rap songs are misogynistic, using the whole word for women is kind of gross, or the
I'm
N-word
sorry.
worse.
Is this Mr. Dildo Man that's saying this right now every single time? And this
but like you don't understand. He's like the most moral person there is, bro. Right? It's like it's baked in.
Singing about that Jesus was king. Well, you know what? Jesus is a Jew. If you really mean what you say, you could change. You could go beyond words.
No, you're a fucking Jew.
Places and asking them, learning about the experience of the Jewish people. You're a black man. You know what happened to your community. You know that. I mean, I traveled all the way to Senegal twice so I could go to Goree Island, where 5 million slaves were put on freaking ships and chains. Half of them didn't even
I
make it.
love
They
it,
died
dude.
in
Pause
use,
it.
and they were just.
You see how it's 5 million? He wouldn't go anywhere with the numbers over 6.
It's right. It's
Always get a full rank.
only 5 million. Don't try and rise above your station. All right.
I know the history of the Black community because as a white Jew, I wanted to know it. Come and study with us. Come and show you really care. But an ad from afar where people think it's just for you to do another Adidas deal so you can sell more sneakers, that ain't gonna cut it. I'm challenging you. Begin with banning Heil Hitler. Let's see if you'll do it. I hope you will. God bless you.
Excellent. So, he really puts the moo in Shmuley. So, Rabbi Shmuley, now, if you would like to, really rectify things with the Nick Fuentes crowd, can we get any of that? Anything that the white people have been through at all whatsoever? It just seems like that you'll cater to any group except for white people for some reason.
No. Like white atheists are okay, right? It's just and white Christians, as long as they're Christian Zionists, right? Just not
we're progressive Christians
for some reason, right? You would think, given that they're always saying right how like Jesus is a Jew, right? And they're always like, yeah, it's impossible for Christians to have anything bad to say about Judaism, like blah 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 blah. You think they'd be like really into it, but apparently not. Super chats, Jillybot for $10. Thank you very much, mate.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
You should leave. And P.S. Don't Google the black pill. It's gay. Thank you very much, mate.
I tried the black pill on Tuesday. All right, didn't work. My shine is too radiant.
Does it taste like licorice? Is what I always wanted to know.
No, it was more. It's very leathery. A lot of BO.
I see.
Yeah, it was very Shaquille O'Neal-ish. I'll put it to you that way.
Waffle for $5. Thank you, mate.
Love.
Do synagogues have collection plates, or did they cancel the practice because it kept coming back empty? I don't know. I think they have like a tithing system. I'm not 100% sure on that. I really should.
That would be hilarious to find out because there's got to be some comedic gold in there, dude.
Oh yeah. Matty Ice for $10. Thank you very much, mate. You gonna trigger the cheer?
Oh my God! Sorry.
What's up with you today, mate?
I'm multi-streaming over here.
I worked for a moo who knew Shmuley. Extremely nice guy. He introduced Shmuley to people high up in a European government as a favor. Shmuley then asked, "What do I need you for now?" For no reason. Oh, dude, that's fucking mate. That's so fucking mercenary.
Not shocking. Dude. Not surprising.
Jillybot again for another $10. Let him go. That attack clip reminded me of Andy Warski. We will defend ourselves moment back in the day. The good old times. We need you back, Daddy Jim. I don't know who Andy Warski is.
I used to watch Andy Warski when he was doing like the most popular live streams on YouTube with JF Garepi. JF, very pro-white. Okay.
No.
French Quebecois, French Canadian.
No.
And I was like, oh no, dude. That's when I really started to notice the going in a white direction, and I was completely against it. I got some videos about me debating race realists shortly after the Warski thing, and I was not on the side of race realism, and I got them really, really mad. I'm pretty sure it's a 7-on-1. I have it somewhere.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
Aaron, mate, Discourse for $5. Thank you, mate. Had a nice chat with my local rabbi. Very nice chat. He spotted me $7 for lunch. Had a very strong urge to kiss the wall at the local Wendy's.
Okay. All right. See, they're giving.
That's right. And Deadpool Kids, DPK for $5. Thank you, mate.
DPK.
I believe in owning up to your mistakes, but to demand being on your knees and beg, get wrecked, moo boy. Yeah. I mean, that's not very Christian, but of course, they aren't. So
it's not the intent, really.
Now this is
real quick. I just gotta do.
We got Rumble.
A Rumby.
Oh, nice.
Book track grooves for $5. Test. Steak and eggs. Go outside. Build your crew. Yeah. Well, depends who's around you. Okay. Which is what Return to the Land is, and then also what this YouTube channel is. It's a landing pad. We have a diverse cast of white people. It is diverse because, we've been lied to for a century, so everyone's trying to pick up the pieces. and go, what the hell do we do? So it's going to be a little cringe in the beginning. Everyone's, do you think when they were making the Constitution, right, nothing ended up on the fucking cutting room floor? Okay. It's a messy process. Have fun with it.
So this is the Israeli ambassador to the UN. For some weird reason, they've just forgotten everything about Palestine now. Oh. Right? I imagine in the future, it will be called the Palestine incident that never really happened. Basically, right? Like, oh, are you still talking about that thing, that Palestine thing? Oh my God! Like, what's wrong with you?
Today, remembrance alone is not enough. Because while we remember, Jews are attacked. While we speak, hatred spreads. Words, slogans, and statements have failed to stop the violence. I stand before you as Israel's ambassador to sound the alarm. The time for talk is over. The time for action is now. In recent years, we have heard many warnings from this podium about the rise of anti-Semitism, about dangerous lies, about how hatred begins with language. Those warnings are right, but they ring hollow when the lies that fuel anti-Semitism are allowed to spread, including here, in this building, in the UN. When false narratives are repeated in this chamber, they do not stay here. They spread across the world with a rubber stamp of the UN. They harden into belief, they turn into hatred. To my fellow ambassadors here today, when you return to your missions later this afternoon, please ask for the numbers. How many anti-Semitic incidents were reported in the past year in your country? How many threats? How many attacks? Then ask the harder questions. How many indictments? How many prosecutions? How many convictions? When you see that gap, do not explain it away. That gap is a measure of failure. It is a space where hatred grows. It is not enough to come here once a year to speak about remembrance and then go home and allow the same hatred to spread unchecked. Remembrance without action is empty. Hatred that begins with words does not remain words. It spreads and it kills. Anti-Semitism did not end in 1945. It adapted. Today, it often hides behind hostility to Israel. We hear it in chants to globalize the Intifada. We see it in calls to boycott Israel. We see it on college campuses where Jewish students are harassed, excluded, and intimidated. This is not protest. This is not free speech. This has a name. The name is anti-Semitism.
There we go.
I wonder.
They make you wait for it way too long, dude.
I wonder what the Palestinians would think of this. You know what I mean, right? Like, because words are violence, right? But I guess bombs aren't violence.
Well, we got to be careful.
Nuremberg trials will come.
You got to be really careful nowadays. It sneaks up on you out of nowhere. We all remember what happened in the 1930s. It was like a year, and it all just swept the nation by storm. It was like living La Vida Loca, but way worse for the moose,
Don't worry, bros, right? This rabbi, right?
I trust this guy.
Right? He has the solution, right? I think it's a great solution. And it will just involve just a little thing, okay, that everyone can do.
The Torah gave humanity the 7 universal moral laws, principles of justice, dignity, and responsibility. I urge world leaders to consider something profoundly simple. Introduce a moment of silence in schools. Only 1 minute at the start of each day. A moment for reflection, for purpose, for the awareness that our actions matter. And when a child who grows,
so you'll every day before school, you have 1 minute silence to reflect on how horrible whites are. Basically,
crazy. Not for the country.
Yeah. No. Look,
for
the
people
whole,
have another country to go to in case things don't go well here.
Saying the pledge to the flag and that's old hat, right? What you need is a minute of silence, right, where you can reflect on how horrible your people are.
Right. You don't want something old hat. You want something small hat.
Yeah.
There is an eye that sees and an ear that hears. He usually will not grow into terrorist.
What? That is so freaking sinister, man.
like the universal mu opticon. You know what I mean, right? There is an eye that sees and an ear that hears always. It's like what they're like Santa Claus now, right?
Yeah.
They will grow into a moral human being. This is not only how we fight anti-Semitism, this is how we save civilization from itself.
That is Tikkun Olam so much. They have to save it from itself.
Yeah, of course. No, you got to understand, right? Without the moves, right, to guide the Gentiles, civilization is in danger, right? We need, their sort of incredible morality and advice. Without them, we'd be lost, right? Like how did civilization even happen without them?
Remember how great things were going when we saved the moose from themselves in countries, which is going to be covered with Nick Fuentes and Joel Webbon in about an hour less. But remember when we used to do that for them? We used to save them from themselves and go, "We'll keep you alive, but you can't be in charge of anything." No, you crazy? How can we let you do that?
Yeah. Double mumble for $10.
Wait, I'm not ready.
Good evening, friends. Here's to a doobie for the night.
Oh, thanks, bruv.
Enjoy your doobie.
Appreciate it.
Double mumble. Thank you very much, mate. What else we got? Here we go.
We can get in the meat.
Isaac for $5. We remember to act now. Remember that we all have dirt on you because of Epstein. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, apparently the files just dropped and there's like Elon Musk is in there. It says that I think Trump is an Israeli asset in there somewhere. We'll probably really go through that on Tuesday.
Yeah,
right?
I reckon. Yeah, wait until sort of like everything
dust
drops,
clears.
I'll put together a nice girthy package.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah. Last remembrance for $2. Thank you, mate. How many? Not enough, moo boy.
Never enough. It's never enough.
Soul on the Lich for 100.
There he is.
You mate. We has lost control over the golem. Hilfe bitte. Who knows?
It does seem like that. It seems like they're losing control, kind of.
And Isaac again for $2. Thank you, mate. I trust this guy. Famous last words from Trump.
Yeah, with Mark Levin's sweaty arm around him. Yeah.
When was the last time Trump went to church? By the way, has anyone seen him like actually in a church?
JD Vance goes to Israel. Actually goes to a Christian church.
Oh, what one in Israel? Does he?
Well, yes, but when he was there, he made a point to go there. So I don't know if that's for optics or what, but at least he's actually a man of the cloth, so to speak.
Okay, so wait, I've got a few more clips.
Do you now?
I do. So you might.
Oh, terrific!
You might remember what's this guy? Someone Esposito.
Yeah,
the dude from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out in real life, he's a wannabe communist. Check this shit out.
This is time for a revolution. It's time for it, and they don't even know.
I'm so sorry. Pause this.
Very rich.
Listen to his voice. This is just a gay white guy speaking, right? This is just the moo injecting a gay SJW into this guy's like South American body right now. Look at his glasses. Look at all the money he has. Look at his hat and his glasses as he's about to say this.
Why does everyone like on the sort of like left like this look like one of the villains out of the early Batman films?
It's
right. I can't. Someone said that on Twitter, and now I can't stop seeing it. Right? You remember the ones with Jack Nicholson? The Tim Burton one.
Batman Forever.
Yeah. And then all the evil like dudes are like dressed up like this. It's freaking weird, man.
Daffy. White men are exerting their power to suppress our own people, thus creating a feeling of civil war in the streets, preparing the haters to hate, teaching them how to shoot. They're not even trained right, to kill. This is all a preparation for a very insidious problem that's happening in our world. And for me, I have to speak out that we will not be iced out. This is not going to happen. They can't take us all down. If the whole world showed up on on Putin's doorstep or on the Iranians' doorstep or in Washington, it would stop. They'll
What the fuck?
You
If
imagine,
the whole
imagination on them.
What if the whole world like what got on a submarine and like showed up in Moscow? Like, what the fuck is this? Like, oh my god.
kill 550 million, however, but the rest of us would survive with a new. This is time for a revolution. It's time for it, and they don't even know that's what they're starting.
You see, it's chic
But we
when
have
they
to be
do it.
strong enough to
Yeah, when they
trendy.
do it, because as you've said a bunch of times, they get unlimited do-overs.
Yeah.
Right, every one of their revolutions is like a heckin' wholesome chungus. Right. But when anyone else wants to do a revolution, right, like, or not even a revolution, like just halt the inevitable progress of the wholesome chungusness, right? Oh my god, my fascism.
to know that we can change the world. We have to change it from within. So if I'm spiritually ready and right, and I'm ready to understand other people and to agree to disagree with them and say, okay, let's find the solution together, then that starts to change things. Not by deporting immigrants, not by killing brown and even white people on the street. It's crossing over now, and believe me, this is gonna really spark the nature of so many people.
Always about to
who
happen.
are gonna show up and say no more. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore.
Oh, you're cute.
Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, he's gonna like get his brown housekeeper to Inez, it's very, very important that you show up to I'll show up to the anti-ICE protest. No, wait, I won't. I'll get my gay white friend to go. I'm
Why do
too
they
delicate.
love sending other people? This is how you know that how mooey that neocon mentality is. They love sending other people to go and do this stuff. They
Yeah, of
love it.
course, right? So
You and your mooery, you really are just a bottomless pit.
dude, it's insane to watch, right?
I know, right?
Here's this guy, right, who doubtless, right, would tell you straight to your face that the idea, right, that the moos exert undue influence is completely an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, talking about how Fuentes and all his other crew got banned from every single club in the south of Florida after the Clubocost, I believe it's been called.
We saw in a nightclub in Miami, Nick Fuentes, avowed anti-Semite, went to the club supposedly for the first time, and the DJ's playing a song from Kanye West called Heil Hitler. Tell me a little bit about how the Miami community has reacted and gone on the offensive after this.
Oh my God, look at this fucking denial as a weapon. How do distortion and fake news fuel the war on truth?
I'm sorry. I thought this is seasonal. They're still doing these conventions right now, is what you're telling me. Dude. Every single time we show this, I'm gonna have to do a supercut with a timeline on the bottom of the date and time of when we're doing a stream, and it's another Moo convention, a completely different one.
Well, this one's actually sponsored by the Israeli government, as you can see in the top right. The Prime
They're
Minister,
open and honest. You must appreciate that.
Prime Minister's Office, the National Directorate for Ceremonies and Events, and the Ministry for Diaspora Affairs and Combating Anti-Semitism. Interesting that those would be
the
combined.
the International Conference on Combating People That Hate Us, which is the world. Like, that's what that word means, is hating moos. And they have to have conferences on, well, guys, it's been thousands of years. And let's say the, popularity is not going up.
Do you remember how this kind of language was a really big thing during COVID? Right?
How do you mean?
Well, distortion and fake news fueling the war on truth, right? Like, this could have come straight out of COVID. I'm just noticing here. That's all. They seem to go back to the same playbook over and over and over.
It happens to be that the mayor of Miami, Stephen Minor, is in town here in Israel. We had dinner together. We actually spoke about this yesterday. In Miami, there's zero tolerance for hate, and not just towards Jews, but we have many minorities living in Miami. There's a lot of Latin, Hispanic communities.
Minorities.
From all kinds of backgrounds. There's minorities from Haiti.
Pause
from
it real
Cuba.
quick.
Yeah.
Minorities.
Yeah.
Very important as now when Jeremy Boring brings up liberalism, and this is going to be a point of contention with my audience, I know it, but the focus on minorities is always mooey, okay? Always mooey.
Always.
From Venezuela, from everywhere. And so there really is a melting pot of minorities that come together to support each other. And having grown up in Miami, I personally still have never experienced firsthand anti-Semitism. And I don't think it's because people love.
Well, then why are you bitching about it so much? Right? Like, if you've never experienced it, right? Why are you at a conference? Oh.
In the world of females, we call this hot and cold, right? And
Right,
signals right now.
Right.
Of Jews. It's because you have law and order. The leadership starts from the top, and people are not afraid to say what they believe in and what they really want to stand for. So this situation at the Club of Miami, it was like very easy to shut down because every single elected official, every single local leader, every single club and nightlife owner immediately came out, condemned it, and shut it down. So by the time people were reaching out to me as a Jewish community leader,
real
saying,
quick,
what are we
very
doing
quickly.
about this?
Do we have that for white people anywhere in any Western country where all the whites come out to go, hey, that treatment against that white person is incorrect, and we're banding together?
No, man, I think you'll find that would be racist to do that for white people, right? Like, look, honestly, come on, man, right? You know the rules by now. Like, what is this, right?
Yeah, but can you imagine if the roles were reversed?
Can you? Oh, for some reason, my media window is like frozen. I can't get the audio clips. I wanted to play the Yenta thing. Can you play it?
Dinky Yentas?
Let's go protest outside the club. The club had already been shut down. The DJ had already been fired. Nick Fuentes and all his Nazi friends.
Yeah, they're not
had
coordinated
been
at all.
banned from every single nightlife institution in South Florida.
They don't
And
run
we just-
anything. They don't run anything, right? They openly admit to it.
It's like, oh yeah, we run this bitch, right? In fact, we run this bitch so hard we didn't even have to give the order, right? People came to us, right?
That's a very
when you
good
come
point.
to Miami, there's a guy named Adam Sosnick. He's on a very famous podcast with PBD, Patrick Ben-David, and he actually called in one of the guys the next day. He's a Jewish kid who grew up in Miami, and he said, hey, why'd you do it? Like, why were you hanging out with them? And why didn't you go sit at the box with other social media influencers, with the president and Marco Rubio the night before where there was a college football final? Why did you pick to be in the wrong place
There it is.
at the wrong time?
There's
And
the
guy said,
maternal moo clucking in the ear, right?
Yeah. Why would you do that? Why?
I messed up. So there's no tolerance in Miami, and law and order and consequence, real consequence. Shutting these things down is what takes care of it immediately.
Now, I don't want to sort of, be accused of not covering, what's, bad things that are happening to the Moorish community. Just after the church thing, this actually happened in a synagogue. So the lefties are still out there. What is this? Doesn't say which synagogue, but check this out.
9 people were killed by ICE this month, and you're throwing me out while I'm reading their names? How fucking dare you?
How fucking dare
How
you?
dare you?
How dare you?
Yeah, I wonder where he gets it from.
Swazi, I know you voted to increase ICE funding, so I wanted to get something for you. This is an adult diaper for when you pee yourself.
Pee-pee.
The type of leader we need right now. Someone who soils themselves with ashes around.
I didn't know we were doing gifts up top. I actually also have some gifts. I have some knee pads for you. You can use these while you blow Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Dude.
I just would like to say, really,
They're teenagers.
Jewish man, I have never felt safer than when there is a masked Gestapo in the street.
You made a mistake. Tell Alex Penny you made a mistake in expanding funding of ICE after a day good had already been.
If I didn't know any better, I would say they erased the entire identity of the white people in the West. And then the only sense of community they can have is to assist the moos and the commies. If I didn't know any better.
Yeah. I mean, God, this is crazy. Something tells me like these people are gonna face consequences.
Nobody could have predicted that ICE would have been killing innocent people. The only way we can fight anti-Semitism is by aligning ourselves with white supremacists.
Alex Peretti, Renee Good, Keith Porter. I'm reading names of people killed by ICE. And if you're going to touch me, you're going to touch me. Alex, nobody could.
Do you know who this guy is? Walter Matheson or Masterson? You know this guy?
No.
Oh, you'd hate him. You would hate him. He's very much like on the more comedy side. When he goes to protest and whatnot, like he'll go to a Trump protest to find some old people and then act like he supports Trump and then ask them a question that they don't know and to embarrass them and stuff like that. That guy's very antagonistic.
But you see, Artie, the problem really is the white Christians, dude.
This is a cancer. White evangelical Christianity is a cancer. These are the worst of our country. These are the worst people in our country because they use their religion in two ways, as a weapon and as a shield. They weaponize it whenever they want.
Nobody else does that, right? Just the white Christians, right?
Your cheeks are missing, lady. Like you look crazy.
Yeah, she probably got that that cheek fat removal surgery that like just makes you look like a zombie.
We're on the moral high ground. You're a lesbian. You deserve to die. You're a lesbian. The cops shouldn't have revived you. Oh, your parents are Mexicans?
Hold on. Wait a minute. This is just a small point of clarification. You're a lesbian. It's not that you deserve to die. It's that I don't care when you die. Like, represent what I believe accurately for once. It's like P.F. Young can't do it. She can't do it. I couldn't be any more explicit.
Yeah, but you're not an evangelical Christian. So, and besides, the evangelicals like love the moose. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like,
and they brought you over here. Yeah, you should go to jail and eat worm food. And then when you call them out on it, oh my God, they're after the Christians. How dare they?
Wait, who is this person? Jennifer Welch.
She has her own podcast, which I imagine is very botted and difficult to stomach.
Oh my God.
How dare they? We're so oppressed. White Christians are so oppressed in this country. And they want it both ways because in the religion, that duplicity is taught. You can be morally duplicitous. You thrive in cognitive dissonance. And so this is just a massive, massive problem. And it should come as no surprise to anyone that of this cult that I'm talking about, white evangelicals, I think over 80% went and voted triple Trumped.
Triple Trumped. Okay, would you rather be triple vaxxed or triple Trumped, lady? Okay, with slinging insults over here. Now, let's bring this together, okay? Let's bring this together with some advice for white people, okay? And I want you to listen closely.
Should we super chats?
Sure.
Matty Ice for $5. I'm chickening. That would make for a great meme, actually. Right. Isaac for $5. Thank you, mate. Lol Ave Marduk said Hunger Games capital citizen Giancarlo Esposito. I can't wait for him to actually meet the cartel. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm sure the cartel would have like words to say to him. And Isaac again for another $5. We love to talk about ourselves and all the people who hate us that we totally don't cause it. Let's talk about it all year during the conference. Yeah,
dude,
exactly.
The duplicity coming from Christians was way too much for me to handle. I'm still recovering from that one.
Molokai for 20 secs. Fellas, I can't say what I want to do to that wall.
Yeah.
he wants to give it some sweet loving. I think
that's what it sounds like.
You know. Last Remembrancer for $5. Thank you, mate. This stand-up comedy is very avant-garde, very Andy Kaufman.
Right? Yeah. It's a little too method acting.
TM Bailey for $5. YouTube won't let me send my super chat because of censorship. You just got to get creative, mate. Will you guys consider getting Streamlabs up so we can super chat freely?
Unfortunately, no, because they only go through PayPal, and I refuse to go through PayPal.
Yeah,
I do not get along with PayPal very well, unfortunately. But yeah, it does cause you to be, a little creative with how to do it.
You just got to be creative, mate. And Isaac for $2. Thank you, mate. If you need a noise, just grab one from these chicks.
I know, right? There's some good noises. I don't know if we're gonna beat this one though. Yeah. Gonna be really tough to beat that Tranberry.
So this Harrison here, he's got some advice for all you white people listening. Listen up, bros.
This message is for white people. Listen up, white people. You think you're so much better than everybody else? You think you're the superior race? Guess what? You're not. You're not better than any other race, and you deserve protection too. Yeah, that's right. You're not invincible. You're not invulnerable. You white people walk around your white countries thinking you can let the whole world in and it'll be fine because we're white. What could ever challenge us? You are a minority on the world stage and you're vanishing. Okay, so you walk around so concerned about the plight of the poor Africans. Oh, they're all starving. Boo-hoo. At least they're having babies. At least they're going to be around in a century. So if you're so much better than everybody else, if you're the master race and nobody else is as good as you, why don't you prove it? Ever thought of that? Why don't you, I don't know, rise up? Why don't you organize on the basis of race and then work to gain political and possibly military power? Have you ever thought about that? I mean, if you're so much better than everybody else, if you're so much more superior to all these other races, why don't you prove it? Why don't you prove it?
And that, fellas, is the power of satire.
Okay, so an hour and a half in, I think we timed that like pretty well, actually.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on, last super chat.
Oh, sure.
King Spectre, put in the dollar.
Thank you,
There
mate.
you go. I've recently taken up the hobby of incredulous holy denial. What? No way something like that happened. It's just too crazy. Sounds straight out of a bad movie. The reactions are incredible. Yes, we've all seen the 4chan green text.
That actually, I like that. What? Really? Because you can, it's not denying it. You just haven't heard about it. Have you guys tried that in the UK?
No, I'm pretty sure that's illegal here. And Isaac again for another $2. Did that guy just challenge us? Yes, that was indeed a challenge. White boy
He slapped you with a little glove and challenged you to a duel.
So now we are going.
Timestamp 32:15 will be the first timestamp. If you want, I can set it up.
I can't believe they are still kvetching about Tucker Carlson, mate.
Yeah,
like they're never going to let it go. Like I reckon this is like an election thing. Like they're worried about having him around.
I mean, would you say possibly that Tucker Carlson was over the target?
Yeah, I would. I mean, like, you know, Yoram Hazoni was like talking about this, and he's just like, you know, again, the same thing, just like kvetching endlessly about Tucker. Like, oh my God, right? Like, you know, he's repeating the tropes. Here's an idea. Why don't you prove the tropes wrong? Like, you know, have you considered conducting like, you know, actual outreach? You know, but they do, whenever they do outreach, it's like, you know, entirely like manipulative. So fucking,
are you allowed to be a Holly agnostic in these countries? I'm really just want to see where the line is. I'm agnostic about the Holly.
No, you're not. You really,
interesting.
You're really not. So like in the UK, there's not technically a law, but you're skating on thin ice if you question that.
I like to go right up to the line. Okay.
Of the West
okay, hold
over
on,
the
pause
last
this.
generation or two.
Okay. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Do the setup.
So this is Jeremy Boring. He is boring to listen to, mainly because what he'll do is he'll phrase his opinion, and you know, by his opinion, he really wants to couch his language when he's saying it. And sometimes people couch the language and it's good. Okay. Sometimes people couch the language and it's bad. Okay. So when he this is how he talks. Okay. So you're definitely gonna want to 1.25 it. Okay.
Yeah, right. Okay,
he has left the Daily Wire and he's now a director. Okay. And he is one of the biggest sweepers of the moos as a Christian. So I need fist here. I could read between the lines with the commie stuff, when some of the moose stuff, and with the Christianity stuff, I'm just not adequate at doing that.
Well,
so
look,
it's going to be fun to read between the lines of his version of Christianity.
He is clearly a Christian. He's wearing the bent key of Christ, right? You know all the Christians who wear like a key, a bent key around their neck to symbolize their love for Jesus Christ. You know, like that's a thing, right? Right?
I have no idea. You could tell me that the color of his shirt right now, dude. I have no idea. Tell me that haircut is Christian. I have no idea.
I wonder if that's why Daily Wire called their film production company Bent Key.
Ooh.
When they did that like horrible mooish version of like Snow White that like just completely like failed to like land. I bet you that's it. Okay, right. So we're set up. Let's go.
2 generations. And this is why I see a huge alignment between, you know, Antifa thugs tearing down statues of Christopher Columbus and George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and people on the so-called new right saying that Churchill is the chief villain of the Second World War, or that America shouldn't have used the atomic bomb.
So it is a rhetorical statue removal. Is what it is when you have differing opinions about whether or not Churchill was a good guy.
Remember that time when all those like people who were critical of Churchill like burnt down like those cities and like started like that communist revolution? Man, that was some crazy crazy times.
It's done rhetorically, so you can see that this is where the gender stuff comes from, right?
Yeah.
So he's comparing the violence of the left to the words of the right, which is what they love to do. I
mean, they are very hurty words. I mean, have you considered this? This is why I just keep flashing back to BLM.
Yeah.
Oh, my silence is words of violence. My silence is violence. It's like, which
is your violence?
Oh my God.
In the Second World War, or that America didn't walk on the moon, or that 9/11 was an inside job. That's just rhetorically.
Oh, excuse me?
The fuck?
What the fuck? That 9/11 was an inside. I think there's a fair bit of evidence to support that, mate. Like, oh my freaking God, the way he just skates over that.
Yeah, so these, think of how many people are harmed by thinking that we didn't go to the moon. I'm included, by the way. I don't think that we landed on the moon.
You know what he's
and I've come a long way to arrive at this point, by the way.
You know what he's attacking though, right? He's attacking people who engage in conspiratorial thinking.
Yes.
Right? Because when you start thinking like that, you might start believing that there are like certain groups that exert undue influence on things behind the scenes. And of course, you don't want to think like that because that's very bad.
Well,
right?
And this is what P.F. Young does. Do you see this equivocation? Within 30 seconds, we've gone from violent riots and removing statues to questioning narratives. That is the epitome of an equivocation. He's acting like they're the same thing when they're very different things.
Tearing down our statues in the same way that Antifa is physically tearing down our statues. It's saying that the narrative structure on which the country is premised, or more broadly, the West is premised.
Dude, the left's been tearing down narratives about like America, like literally for oh,
the 1619 Project, right?
Oh, oy vey. Oy vey.
Hold on. Hold on.
I'm gonna have a fucking aneurysm.
You're not loving
here.
Israel enough. You don't worship Israel enough.
God.
You nailed the oy vey.
Of shared legacy was either a lie told by evil men to gain power over you, or in some cases it was, I'll say it. Essentially, they're saying that those structures were a lie, and therefore there is nothing to conserve. That's why I think it's a fundamentally anti-conservative proposition. It's a very radical.
What the fuck have you conserved?
It's okay.
Holy shit.
They're conserving the post-World War II story, essentially. That is what they're conserving because that's what they always go back to. The modern American, fellas, over a century of subversion. It would take us years to go through it all. There's so much of it. I've only dipped my toe into it. But the American conservatism is neocons. That is essentially what it is, which is why conservatives are progressives doing the speed limit.
Yep.
And reactionary proposition. It's saying everything that has been great about the country was wrong. All of our greatest achievements were actually immoral. Because when you have a sort of national identity, that national identity, as it turns out, is an immune system against tyranny.
So
if you want to bring about
this is the same handler for Jeremy Boring. It's the same handler for James Lindsay, but James Lindsay's just a moron. The immune system. Do you see how everything is a fucking analogy with these people, right? It's kind of like this. I mean, that was no death butterfly, but it's kind of like the immune it's the immune system.
Not only that, right? You notice how they are allowed to use biological metaphors, right?
Oh,
a virus, a cancer, an infestation, a parasitosis, right? But if anyone else tries to use these same kind of allegories, oh my God, don't you know? You know, that's what the snazzies did, right? Like blah, 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 blah. It's so freaking like, because a lot of those allegories are very, very useful. I mean, that's why it was called the body politic. Fucking even Aristotle way back in the way back in the day was like you can make a good allegory about a country as like a body. You know, you got thinkers as the brains and the laborers as the hands. And
hey, is this the duplicitous Christianity that lady was talking about?
yeah, possibly. I mean, the thing is, right? Okay, the thing is, I don't think, honestly, doubting the moon landing is in any way like dumbing down the achievement of America, actually at all, right? Because looked at from like another angle, right? The fact that they managed to like develop ICBMs, right? Like this huge military program while telling everyone they were going to go to the moon, right? And do is and pull off this incredible propaganda feat is actually incredibly Chadley, if you think about it, right? you just got to kind of like shift your perspective slightly, and you're like, damn, that was pretty fucking impressive, actually. You know,
post-liberal authoritarian order. You have to get rid of that underlying narrative, that story that people tell themselves that allows them to see themselves as free, to see themselves as being on the side of freedom, to see themselves as being on the side of human advancement and human flourishing. So it is constructive insofar as they are constructing a new governing philosophy and implementing it. I think it's destructive in the sense that I think everything that actually is good and true about our role in the world is the very thing that will be the first casualty of this new political project.
So go to 4150.
New year, new system.
Oh my god! Oh my god! You're killing me, Audie.
Hey, who's ready for some Christ is King?
We got some super chats. Bloody cupcake for $5. Thank you, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Did he bend the key using it too much in the locker room at Little St. James? Yeah, Epstein came up behind him and grabbed his ass, and he like bent the key, and he never forgot it. Someone is in the chat is like, there is no deeper thing about the bent key as far as I'm aware. I was just shit posting. Like there's no. I don't really know. Right?
We have some conspiracy-minded people in the group of fellas here. Okay, if you give them a little bit of smoke, they're gonna look for the fire, man, and rightfully so.
Everyone's like, is that a Kabbalistic reference?
Oh,
no,
hell yeah, dude. Let them go.
I'm just shit posting, bro. Kate has for $10. Thank you very much. Dude, you get us evangelicals wrong. Israel is doing every evil listed in Revelations. A few streams ago, you thought I was talking about the Statue of Liberty. I was quoting Revelation 16. Okay. Thank you, Kate. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't have anything against like.
Yeah, why can't you perfectly interpret all of Christianity and all its denominations? Okay, like I think you do a pretty good fucking job. Okay, it's like a dance you have to dance that I can't do.
Psychedemic Agent for €5. Thank you, mate. Trigonometry clips are so funny because it always cuts from a close up of someone talking to Kosher over there looking like cardboard cutouts.
Oh yeah, look at his face right now. You tell me he looks like a cardboard cutout? Really?
Every time I see these guys, I want to play that song about the Francis is like, what am I doing on this show? Isaac for another $5. Thank you, Isaac. Oh, he's been on fire tonight. I have to go, bros. Gym time.
Thanks.
Stay white, pilled. I can't wait for the daily moo to go down the drain. It looks like it's getting closer by the day. Have a good gym time, Isaac. Lift many weights, do many reps. Don't injure yourself, mate. Thank you for the super chats.
But slay only one gash for the rest of your life, okay?
Molokai for another 50 sex. He's throwing the sex around. He's a sex maniac. Fellas, I want a real community. I see you as my friends. I want to see you IRL. If you don't trust me, this is my real name. You can dox me at any time. Don't dox yourself, mate. Right?
Fed.
You don't want to do that.
I'm just kidding.
You don't want to do that.
Okay. You don't want to meet me in person, okay?
Super chats achieved. What's the next time?
Nice. I believe it's gonna be 4150. You guys ready for some Christ is King action? And why Jeremy is like, hey, the way that they're doing it, though. Okay, I think he learned this from the moves, where the way that they're doing it, he knows what they really mean. Okay, he's not a crazy ex-girlfriend where you would just, I don't know, fill up the dishwasher and forget to turn it on. She goes, "You did that on purpose, didn't you?" Like, no, I just forgot to. Can I just be dumb? I just forgot to turn it on. No, there's a reason why you did that. It's the kind of energy Jeremy gives us.
I had a scary dream last night. You better apologize for it.
Yeah, she hits you because she had a dream you cheated on her. of
Oh
what
my
you did in
God.
your dream.
Yeah, well, listen, there is a religious component to a lot of what's happening. You know, people like Nick Fuentes like to lead with Christ is King as a sort of tribal rally cry, right? Rallying cry. I think that's anathema to. I think what they're actually the term Christ is King is not anathema to
Just pause
Christianity
it
or
real
the
quick.
gospel
Do
message.
you see his speech patterns? How like when he goes to talk, well, when he goes to talk, the way just it's what the moves do. It's meant to wear you down, and so nothing. He's not. It takes him so long to say something so simple, kind of though. But then, what is he really saying? It's all these vagaries. Very much what P.F. Young does, by the way.
But what they are admittedly doing by invoking the term Christ is King is Nick Fuentes is very clear about what he's doing when he uses Christ is King. He chose a rallying cry that would exclude Jews. That's why he chose it. So therefore, Christ is King is a way of excluding.
Yes, but Judaism and Christianity are very fucking different.
Really?
Oh my God! Stop trying to make Judeo-Christianity a thing. It's never going to freaking work, right? It's like oil and water, right? For this brief period when you're like shaking it up, you can like have the illusion that they're mixing together. They are not compatible. Oh my God, dude. Oh.
Including Jews from the political project that he's engaged in creating. I think that is anathema to the gospel. I think it's using the name of the.
Oh, real. So just let me get this straight, Jeremy. Excluding the Moos from positions of rulership is anathema to the Gospels, which is a tale of Jesus fighting and being killed by the Pharisees. Do I have you correct on this one? Fucking hell, man. I'm fine. Right? Like, oh God, dude, come on. Has this guy even read the Gospels, bro? Has he even been there?
It's right there.
Lord in vain. I've said as much publicly before. I think one should be very careful about wielding the name of God for personal or tribal gain. Does that mean that so that is a religious component to what's happening? And where there is religion, there is a spiritual component as well. I say that as a believer. I'm a Christian. I therefore believe that when one invokes Christ, they're invoking something real. Now, whether they have the power to actually make such an invocation, your mileage may vary.
Why does he talk like this?
But there's certainly.
Oh my God, this is. I can feel my brain cells like
I know.
draining
So go
away,
to
man.
55-35. We'll sink our teeth into Fuentes and Webbon, but he does
Hang on,
have
hang
some pearls.
We got a very girthy super chat.
Oh, a
from Phoenician.
girth crisis.
Look at him go.
There he is.
From Phoenician. Hey man, how you doing? Thanks so much, super chat. He speaks like someone not confident in what they are saying, like a non-truthful person or some such, a snake, one might say. Not me, obviously, but someone. No, he speaks like someone who is aware that if he says the wrong thing, his entire career is going to be destroyed. So he,
They speak like they're on trial constantly.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. Like that. Just mate.
He obviously just came back from liturgy. Okay, very litigious.
Bubblegum gun for $2. Thank you very much. Look up Adam Green on how the Moos use Christianity. I haven't really.
Adam
seen
Green
much.
is a wild boy. I see different things about what he says. It seems like it might scramble your brain if you try and leave the Moos growing up as a Moo. Seems very difficult departure.
Yeah, I can believe that. I've got this theory that one of the big reasons why Moos and Gentiles have such like a difficulty understanding each other is that they've just got very, very different ways of thinking. And so when you get Gentiles trying to think like Moos, and when you get Moos trying to think like Gentiles, you get like a lot of like just weird insanity and stuff like that. I don't know if that's true, but that just seems like, because it's just very all the Gentiles I've seen who try and think like Moos, like they're just like Lindsay, they just fucking they go a bit like mental in the head. I don't think it's for us. It's not for you. You know what I mean, kind of thing, right?
Playing with forces,
Oh wait, so did you give me another timestamp? Sorry,
No, that's fine. We'll go to 55-35. Rhetorical pornography.
55.
It's rhetorical statues being torn down, and now we're gonna have what Candace Owens is doing. It's like rhetorical corn. Okay.
Right. Okay. This must be the my stochastic Taoism I keep hearing so much about.
Widow of her purported best friend Charlie Kirk. This is so far beyond the pale. You know, the fact that people can say with a straight face, "Oh, well, what do you make of what Candace said?" What I make of it is that it is a kind of pornography. It is rhetorical pornography. It does the same thing that regular pornography does. It titillates. It stimulates. It's
He's saying people are jerking it to Candace.
Look at Francis Foster's face. Look at both their faces right now.
Oh, the freeze frame. Oh my God. Like,
yeah. Hey, what about the actual corn from, an actual, was it a rabbi or just a moo?
Yeah. They're very, very overrepresented in the corn industry.
But let's just think about, the idea of it, and then, like it's gender theory, transfer that idea and map it onto a completely different body of something,
Fucking Francis looks like his soul is leaving his body.
He's praying right now. That is a praying man. That's what that looks like.
Francis, blink twice if you're being held hostage, mate. Fucking hell. Hang on, here. We got a couple of super chats.
Oh, sure.
Scavenge. Put 10.
I like it, bro.
Christ is King is good and all, but I personally go with Christ is God. Makes the moves even more mad than saying King.
Hey,
right?
I can get down with that.
I can get down with that.
Whatever makes them mad,
Spectre for $10.
I like it, bro.
Fring, some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
You understand that?
I don't. Who's Fring?
Gus Fring. That's the character that Esposito guy. What is his name?
Oh, right.
Played on Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It's been a while since I've seen that.
Yeah.
And Molokai for another 26.
I like you, bruv.
Fellas, it's easy to find me. Who cares?
I care. Okay.
Yeah, we care.
I care.
Come on, mate.
Because you think that, okay, until something happens, right?
Yeah.
It's very easy to say that and whatnot, but I care. People in my community, if something happens and it comes from my community, I wouldn't feel good. I wouldn't blame myself, but I wouldn't feel good. So I wouldn't advise it, but the liberal in me goes, it's your choice, it's your own life. But I would advise you to, have a degree of being careful and imagine that, it's 3 years ago when we weren't allowed to say these things, It's easy to have a full head of steam because now we're being allowed to say these things publicly, but the pendulum swings, fellas, and they dig things up. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do to me. If Ben Boyce already has his wife getting harassed because he talked to me, 5 years from now is going to look back and go, well, you stuck your claim. So I had to take it. I'll take the licks for you. Okay. I'm built for this. I have a whole 10-year plan around this.
At least the shit posts were good. Doesn't he have like Guts from Berserk in his profile picture? Listen, what would Guts do? Molokai, right? He wouldn't like wallow in sadness, right? He'd get up, like pick up his sword and go and do some business, right? You take care, mate, all right? Bloody cupcake for $2. Bar, cock bar, seething right now. I don't know. Okay. Do you know what that means?
It made him excited. No. When they hit us with the phonetic ones, those kill me.
The Gray Slayer for $10. Wait, hang on. I need to find here we go. Right.
Oh yeah.
Broken arrows and bent keys, fellas. Is that what that means? Broken arrow is like a missing nuclear missile, if I recall.
Yes.
TM Bailey for $5. Thank you, mate. I believe that if every clear person disappeared, the far right would go after our Asian and Hispanic friends next. No, the far left. The far left will go after. Right. Basically, right? I mean, just anything they can do to get the communist revolution, mate. Thank you very much. Aramake Discourse for $5. Fist, you might want to talk to Dark Enlightenment sometime about Vatican 2.0 and Muri's involvement in it. Yes, I do know about that actually in Nostra Aetite and Dark Enlightenment. Is that like someone on Twitter? I'm not aware unless you mean Nick Land. I don't know like whether he talked to me. I'm not sure.
He was on Ben Boyce, so possible.
Oh, well maybe I. But the thing is, right? Like Nick Land is like really into like black magic and stuff, and I don't fuck with that. Like, no.
Did you used to fuck with it a little bit?
I did used to fuck with it, and like
bad
no
vibes.
more.
Yeah,
bad vibes.
Yeah.
Molokai again for another 20 secs. The steam is gone. Wait, I got to do this in goth voice. The steam is gone. Only nihilism is left. Mate, you got to get to the goth club, mate. Right? Like, do the gothic 3-step. You know,
no, this is an anti-nihilism channel. Okay.
Yeah, that's
we don't
right.
do nihilism here.
Okay, right. So super chat's achieved. We keep going on this. Okay.
Slightly naughty. It's great for getting clicks and it makes tons of money on the internet.
See,
and you shouldn't be able to look at it if you're under 18.
See? See, Eddie, that's like a James Lindsay analogy. See, this is what the left does. See, any similarities? Boom. Well, what is it different enough to be a bad analogy though?
I mean, does he just mean rage bait? I think he just means like, does he just mean engagement? Like, oh my God.
Okay, so you can go to 1 hour and 2 minutes.
Okay.
And that should wrap us up with this, and we can get into the Fuentes.
Okay.
That is still going to break down. I think it'll break down much faster than liberalism broke down. Again, because there's an actual thing called actual original sin, and it isn't class, and it isn't government coercion, and it isn't democratic politics, and it isn't human freedom. It's sin, and sin just corrupts everything as it goes. So, I think people are looking for a simple solution to what is actually an unsolvable problem, which is the problem of man. And one of the beautiful things about particularly America's
so
form of
posit,
liberalism,
he is very protective about liberalism. Okay, so this is his response to people criticizing liberalism, where it's like, hey, well, hold on, so let's go big picture. There's just sin, and it's not one singular issue. We can't blame it all. They always divert to totality instead of making an argument. So his argument is that it's not all liberalism, which I would never do. Be like, oh, so it's all liberalism's fault. It's like, well, no, they're saying that it's a big part of it. Definitely would be that.
Really complicated. No, it fucking isn't at all.
No, I'm explaining it to a kindergartner.
Oh my God.
as sort of created by our two founding documents, the Declaration and then the Constitution, is it sort of built into its understanding of the world the problem of original sin, actual original sin. And it sought to constrain or mitigate some of the worst excesses of actual original sin by strong protection for minority rights, not just populism.
Oh, for fuck! Always with the minority rights.
I know, but that's not liberalism. Okay, that's moo commie stuff. That's the differentiation that I'm always going to make, and I haven't heard that good of an argument against it. That's not liberalism. Okay, think of it this way: Judeo-Christian, right? Progressive liberalism. Okay, the prefix is the subversion of the suffix.
Right. Yes.
Now, is Christianity more important than liberalism? Absolutely. Is liberalism even that important to me? Not even necessarily, but it's just like a baseline reality for us now, right? Liberalism. And
yeah, but isn't one of the fundamental tenets of liberalism that like everyone is equal under the law, isonomia, right?
Under the law, yes.
Under liberalism, right? You're not supposed to have like, protections for certain groups.
Exactly.
The way they've just like, I guess it's progressive liberalism now, right? Like,
or just like Judeo-Christianity. But that's how they create their Red Guard. Which a Red Guard is a protected class. And that's how they create their Red Guard. When you see people protesting in the streets, kind of seems like they have extra protection to do that, wouldn't you say? And a lot of them are a part of protected classes, wouldn't you say?
Yep.
All right, cool. So let's get this boring asshole off my screen. And let's go to the meat.
All right.
So I have a new timestamp for this that I didn't include, which is an excellent introduction, which I will say is at 8 minutes and 50 seconds.
All right. Okay.
That's pretty much my position on Jews. What do you think?
I agree with a lot of that. And I agree with the lens interpreting the relationship between Christians and Jews through the lens of civilizations. Because that's really how I started to think about the issue. Is when I got started becoming a conservative, the phrase I always heard was Judeo-Christian.
Right.
And I think that's really the beginning of it for a lot of people, is people hear this repeated over and over, Judeo-Christian values, Judeo-Christian civilization. They say Western civilization's Judeo-Christian. And a lot of times when people think about what a conservative is or right wing is, they say it's Judeo-Christian. And for me, when I turned roughly 18, I thought about the term because I didn't just mindlessly repeat this. I said, how actually can this be? Is this not a contradiction in terms? Because to be Jewish is to reject Christ.
Right.
To be a Christian is to embrace Christ. And
pause it real quick.
People don't
The
typically
phrase
think
Judeo-Christian made me pro-moo up until about 8 months ago. I don't think about religion that much. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
The amount of miles they've gotten out of that phrase is fucking incredible.
Oh yeah. I mean, like amazing, right? Like you have got to respect the hustle, right? Like
they're dedicated.
They have such a long time horizon and just such fanatical dedication, right? Like, you know, I honestly cannot help but be kind of impressed, to be perfectly frank. Like, just how they managed to like undermine Christianity is like such an insane extent.
Especially, you know, us coming from a position of we're having to rediscover, I don't want to say identity, and I'm going to comment about what Ben Boyce said about this. It's annoying because he said I was being squirrely about the word identity, and it's like, okay, well, when there's muzzies in the UK graping white girls specifically because they're white, and you go, do you have to make it about identity? Kind of annoying. Okay, I'm not being squirrely. I just don't think of it as like identity politics, identity. But like we're thousands of years behind in terms of setting up this identity for ourselves, so to speak, and how to move forward. You know,
I could think of many adjectives to describe you, Artie, but squirrely wouldn't be
right.
Right? You're quite forthright with your views, right? Like I wouldn't say like squirrely personally, you know, but you know, like,
it would benefit me to be a little more squirrely.
it this way, but Judaism forks when Christ arrives. Christianity comes from Judaism and emerges from Judaism. And then what we call Judaism today emerges from the events of the Passion, which is the splitting of the veil, the destruction of the temple, the expulsion of the Jews from the Holy Land, and the end of temple worship as the Jewish people. And so from that Jewish community, you get the Christians, and then you get the Jews. And what's really interesting about the term, there's the theological contradiction, which is that some embraced Christ and said there's no need for the temple sacrifice. We have the ultimate sacrifice. The other said one day we'll return. We'll rebuild the temple. We'll come back to the Holy Land. Outside the obvious theological contradiction is the history, which I don't even think people know. Because when you hear Judeo-Christian, you tend to think that things have always been the way they are in America. Because in the United States of America, you've had, with some exceptions, notably, Christians and Jews largely living together, especially for the past 100 years, and Jews being assimilated. For the most part, we think they're assimilated into America. But the history of Europe, could you imagine going back to the 1500s and telling the Jews and Christians then about a Judeo-Christian civilization? They would say, I don't know what you're talking about.
What do you think that would be like?
Because for thousands of years, the historical experience of the Jews and Christians is that they've been in conflict, basically in a state of constant conflict, starting with the Roman Empire's destruction of the temple, the Jewish rebellions led against the Roman Empire, and then the expulsion of the Jews from Palestine. That's how it starts. And I learned about this after I started to see there were a few notable pictures. I think one was posted by Brett Weinstein, or maybe his brother Eric, of him flipping off the Arch of Titus in Italy. There he is flipping off. It's a point of view. He's showing his middle finger to the arch. And I said, what's going on in this picture?
This is
really and the Arch of Titus
distinctions that he makes, where it's like these are not like religious moves. That when he points this out, and so it's not like, you know. Of course, you ask somebody, you know, what is a moo? You never get the same answer. Christian is very cut and dry. It's a religion.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lineage, so to speak, and it at a certain point has to be considered genetic, like definitionally.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like, to be fair, they have preserved themselves really, really well. You know, the whites could learn a lot actually from them, right? In terms of
we're trying to learn
intermarriage and like, you know, keeping yourself as a cohesive people. I often wonder actually about the Weimar Republic, because around that time, right, like Mustache Man and his associates were being exposed to like a lot of mooery. And like I wonder whether this is the problem, is that once these views sort of disseminate widely into society, certain people start being like, hey, that's a really, really good survival strategy. We should do that, you know?
Well, the white Christians, when someone goes, hey, I like what you're doing, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and also use our idea, right? Now, the moose seems to be the polar opposite.
Yeah. Molokai for 100 sex. Thank you very much, great. My father is a communist. I think he's been drinking, bros. My father is a communist. I talk to my uncles and grandpa, and they think globalism is good, and nobody is illegal now in Spain. They legalized 500,000 illegals, and this all made me a little depressed. Oh yeah, mate, I know this thing with like Spain is like, it'll be here next. You watch in the UK, they'll suddenly be like, well, you know, Spain did it, right? Like, why can't we just, you know, legalize like 1 million migrants?
I just can't imagine having commies in my family. I can't even imagine that.
Look, take care of yourself, Molokai, all right? Seth D for $5. There's an incredible Joel Webbon voice clip from his Timothy Gordon interview.
I tried to look this up, and it's only 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 13 seconds long from the one that I'm seeing. So you would have to give me something more descriptive to find it.
Does he mean 2 minutes and 8 seconds per chance?
Well, it's really odd to add the 19 at the end. He would have, It would have to be 1 hour possibly, but yeah. If I can get something concrete, I can look it up and possibly play it.
Double for $5. Thank you, mate.
I like you, Brav.
If we're saying moves, shouldn't we also say mentiles?
Right? I don't see why not.
I quite like that. I'll stick that in my quiver. Thank you very much.
A fella also came up with based off of vanilla, white people calling each other nillas.
Nillas. Right? That's awesome. That's awesome. Right. Another timestamp. Are we still going with this?
We can move it forward now. I just wanted to hear the moo differentiation. Go to 1425 so we can get some Vatican talk. I had to only show Fist the first 5 seconds of each timestamp in the beginning because he goes, okay, all right. I'm like, hold on, we don't have time yet. I'm just trying to get the timestamps down. He can barely contain himself. So now you'll be able to effectively explode upon hearing this.
Great.
A Kabbalistic Jew named Adam King. And he believes that underneath the Vatican are all the treasures that the Roman Empire stole from Israel. They're like giant menorah, their library. He believes that when the Jewish Messiah comes, he will destroy modern Rome, which is the church, and Western Europe, which is sort of interesting because if you're being told about this Judeo-Christian civilization, it seems like these are in conflict, actually.
Yeah.
The Roman Empire and Israel from the start. Then the Jews are expelled. And to me, this is maybe the most essential characteristic is that they're a wandering people. Unlike the Franks, the Goths, the Romans, they're a people with no homeland, no native land to call their own. So they're dispersed from Palestine into Europe, and they're unwelcome there because they're ethnic outsiders, religious outsiders, and they're a minority. This is what shapes their experience in Europe. And as a minority in many of these Western kingdoms, they're not given the same rights. They're not integrated. We tend to think, and again, this is our bias, that everything is like America. Everything is tolerant. Everyone's integrated and assimilated. People don't realize that for thousands of years, Jews existed segregated from everybody else in their own communities, speaking a different language, with their own courts, their own laws, different rights under the law, different roles. In many countries, their land ownership was restricted.
Right.
Couldn't have certain positions, couldn't be farmers.
Which is why they kind of geared towards banking.
Money changing, right. They were...
Oh, yeah, because the Moose were like, oh, no, don't force me to be a banker. Oh, no, please let me go back to the shtetl and like be a dirt farmer. Fucking come on.
Well, I like how he corrects him, not even banking, but he goes money changing. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but they didn't want to be bankers and lawyers, man. They were forced into that position. Like, okay.
Really strong-armed.
For, in many cases, artisans, craftsmen, they were segregated into specific towns as opposed to the countryside or the major cities. And through this segregation, naturally, they come into conflict with the Christian hosts. And for hundreds of years, again, this is something that's kind of becoming known now. People talk about 108, 109 countries they've been expelled from. For hundreds of years, they are being literally expelled wholesale from entire nations, from England, Spain, France, Italy. For hundreds of years, there were no Jews living in England because King Edward in 1290 said Jews are banned from living here, and they all leave. And until 1650, not a single Jew resides in the entire country. So for hundreds of years, They're being forcibly converted, expelled, segregated. There's a dual law, like an apartheid system. They have different rights and laws. And over the years, they're always moving around from Palestine into Western Europe, from Western Europe to the Netherlands, Netherlands back to England, many of them moving over to Poland, then in Russia.
Can we
And throughout
agree
this
that he's explaining this as if he's a history teacher? He is putting no emotion into it. He's explaining it as it happened. And he's also saying, apartheid. He's also saying, these dual systems that were set up. It's a very fair analysis of how this all came to be.
Yeah, that's right. And all of these like laws are basically the same. If you look at sort of like medieval Europe, they have to wear like an identifying mark so that Gentiles know that they're doing business with them. They're not allowed to hold political office. And what's the third one? I forget. I did a Telegram post about this. But it's and banning on like usury, basically.
Yeah.
And this is basically protection for Christian societies, because if you give them like usury and you allow them to like blend in, well, they just wind up like dominating. And okay, the moves would be like, oh well, that's not fair, right? Like, we should be able to like dominate. Well,
no, what's not fair is that you lie and connive to do it, and then you're so used to lying and conniving, you'll never admit or have redemption to your lying and conniving. So your perception of the truth can't be trusted, is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Time, they're subject to what they call a blood libel, angry mobs, pogroms, all these different abusive policies. This is a Judeo-Christian civilization. Now, maybe Jews and Christians live side by side for thousands of years, and it's certainly a complicated history, and it's a diverse and it's a long history. But the idea that it's a unified history, that it's a hyphenated history, it has no basis in reality. And I think people just don't know the facts. And over this time, it engenders, of course, deep resentment, and it goes both ways. And what's interesting is that in modern times, of course, it's like everything else.
Now, at some point, Jeremy Boring said that the Christians have an anti-Semitic history, is what he had said when he was talking, okay?
Yeah.
Now, the way that Jeremy phrases it is an anti-Semitic history. And the way that Nick is phrasing it is that this is mutual and goes both ways. Nothing can ever be considered mutual and going both ways with the word anti-Semitic. That only allows for one way. Same with racism, same with all of these isms and obics. It does not allow for a fair fight, as if the other party did anything.
It absolutely was both ways, right?
Right.
Like, if you read like modern slop history, right? The moves would have you believe that every single time they got expelled was, for no reason whatsoever. This is a flat out lie, right?
Yeah.
Just as an example, okay, the expulsion from England happened because a group of moves in London had a coin clipping operation so large that it debased the entire currency of England. And they all got caught red-handed, right? Like they found the clipping machines, like everything. They had like a whole workshop going on.
Is what you're saying considered anti-Semitic in the UK?
Oh, fuck. I don't even know anymore. Right? Honestly, right? And at the same time that this was going on, of course, a whole bunch of people owed them like a buttload of money, to the point where like, they were like driving the population into penury. It's very, very complicated. It's a back and forth. This whole idea, it prefigures the melanated, right? Like, he was a good boy. He didn't do nothing. Well, that's just not true. That is just completely
We see where it comes from, and we've shown time and time again where these behaviors have been learned from the Black American community. Now, is there also a genetic component? As always, sure. Okay. What can you do about that? I really like to focus on, the intentional manipulation and orchestration of things that have happened, because that's what you have to be aware of. You don't have to know anything about genealogy to look at a Black person, listen to him speak, and go, not for me, get away. Hey, there's no discussion to be had there, really, okay? But in terms of the orchestration and the propaganda, that is what I like to focus on, because that's what will continue into future generations.
We got a couple more super chats.
Oh, sure.
Theodore McCarthy for $5. Thank you, mate. Exploiting high trust societies isn't domination, it's subversion.
Yes, exploiting. Exactly. We're over here like a bunch of nerds trying to play fair against people that refuse to play fair. Exactly. This is the starting point of where your brain should just rest at. That's the middle to me. To me, that's a centrist approach. That's just what's happening before even deciding to do anything.
Waffle for $5. You won't find an atheist in a foxhole, and you'll never find a moo in the train. Yep.
Yeah, well,
And
I could
Kevin 11. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, it's true about me. Yeah.
Kevin 11 for $5. Fist. I think the third rule is that moos aren't allowed to have a private island
Anymore.
Bro. Oh my god. Right, another timestamp. Or we keep going on this.
What are we? What's the timestamp at right now?
1809.
Oh yeah, we can go to 25:45.
Okay.
It's rightresponseministries.com /donate. God
Pause it.
bless.
What the Catholic
Can we please, people on the right, including Nick Shirley, don't Daily Wire it. Do not put your own advertisements into like these topics, dude. It really, every single time I see it, I wince. I wince in agony.
Oh yeah, check this out. Right. this Christians, please do not do this, right? Please do not be like, you're a Christian, you're a holy man, right? Like, buy my product. It just, dude.
How much are you being
And the
paid to have it be worth it, right?
Knick-knack, crush your vice.
And it's tobacco. It's an addictive substance, by the way, too. I mean, really.
Crush your vice.
Yeah, I'm an atheist. It's hard for me to comment on these things, but optically, I would just think that like you're not going to lose people necessarily, but something gets lost in your message a little bit.
Wait, hang on. I got to play more of this ad.
Now, big tobacco sells us nothing but compromise. Knick-knack raises the old banner again. This is nicotine elevated, honest, and intentional, manufactured here in the United States.
For fuck's sake.
I've watched this whole ad and I tried to not show it. I couldn't tell you to stop. I'm trying to help the right out over here, okay?
My God. It
fulcrum
cheapens
of
the
this is
message.
not that's not why we're here. However, I can't deny it though. That just look at how he's holding it, the way he holds it too. I don't know why they have to do it. Like, there's other ways. There's got to be other ways, right?
You gotta get paid. Sorry, what was the timestamp? I lost it.
25:45.
25:45.
That's a rough one.
rightresponseministries.com /donate.
Oh, pause it real quick.
God bless.
So Right Response Ministries is him like politically setting up Protestant leadership in churches that are aware of what's going on politically, which I completely support.
Yeah.
There needs to be an integration of politics with your church, not you talking about things politically like gun rights and stuff like that, but understanding, for example, with Don Lemon, if they come into your church, what the fuck you're going to do. Because that poor pastor, which I have a huge degree of empathy for, didn't know he was going to be recorded. And he was like, I'm kicking you out unless you're here to worship. Well, then they're just going to say that they're to worship. You're being too nice to malicious people. So I very much support that endeavor more than the selling of nicotine, I would say.
What the Catholic Church says about the Jews, they've written many encyclicals on this over the years, they call As the Jews. They say that Jews will not have access to salvation without Christ. There's one door. It says, but we should not forcibly convert them. We should give them dignity and respect. They should have basic rights. But we also do recognize that they are subversive because they're disconnected from Christ. They're disconnected from God. And so I guess my position, to sum it up, is that like you.
And this follows, you cannot be ruled by them, right? This is very, very important. You can't have these people in your government making laws that affect Christians, right? This was very, very well understood, right? Because it always ends fucking badly.
I don't want to be cruel against Jews. I don't hate them. I don't want to destroy them. I don't even think that's possible. We consider them a witness people. They're a witness to the crucifixion. But certainly we have to recognize them as fundamentally aliens and outsiders. And I don't think we should try to assimilate them. I don't think we can. But certainly we can't treat them as indistinguishable from other Christians or other Europeans.
Right. I agree. It's a pretty massive difference. And yet with all these other false religions that are demonic in their own right, all false religions lead to hell. It's like with every false religion, Christians, stand strongly, adamantly against it. And yet we have this weird carve out. Whereas, I feel like the argument can be made that, Islam has a view of Christ. They deny his deity. They don't believe that he's God, but they still esteem him as a prophet. And I despise Islam. But my point is that, Islam sees Jesus as a pretty good guy. Buddhism sees Jesus as a pretty good guy. Hinduism sees Jesus as a pretty good guy. Judaism sees Jesus in hell.
Like, how true is that, by the way?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's totally true.
That's such a good point.
I mean, look, it's not like the Moos don't have a reason to be angry at the Christians, right? Like they've got like a whole bunch of reasons, but these reasons are insoluble, right? There's not a way around them.
Well, would you say though that they would be the ones looking at Christians as an identity group?
Oh, absolutely.
And serving up collective punishment.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
That's one of the things that's really most striking about the Moos as a group, particularly the Orthodox and the ones that like hang really tightly together, right? By the current definition of racism, they are literally the most racist people alive because they only view other people as groups, right? So whenever they're like, there shouldn't be collective punishment, they don't fucking believe that. Look at what they did to Gaza. Right. Like they are totally old school, right? Like in the way they like look at nations, the way they look at peoples, right? You're part of that people, right? You deserve like whatever. It is something that they wish to wield, but their opponents are denied.
Yeah, like however they position how white people were racist to black people in the United States, their level of quote unquote racism is way more violating and disgusting.
Yeah.
And for way longer to not. So for white people, that was just to blacks. Okay. This is for them to all non-Moos, by the way. So it's worse, but happening for longer and to billions of people if they could do it.
Well, I would go one step further and say that this idea of looking at people as groups is really sort of baked in, right? So like your human brainstem, right? Like I think whites sort of generally sort of do it the least out of all people, but this is the way it works. You tend to like look at people either as an individual or as a group. How do you think war works? Right? You don't go to war.
Yeah,
right?
You made that point with James Lindsay before, I think, where you're like an individual going to war and you're just fighting one other individual and how quickly you have to lose.
Every single soldier that like you're about to shoot at, you got to like go up and like ask them, they're like, as an individual, right? Like, do you support this like war? That's not how this shit works. These are clashes between civilizations, between ethnic groups, right? And in that framework, right, individualism is dissolved. And it's only the whites that are supposed to be like individuals. Like, Lindsay's never like bitching about like, group cohesion among the Moos. It's only group cohesion among the whites he has a problem with.
This is the cardinal complaint. If anyone is listening to this that somehow is a centrist or on the left, if you want to steel man the argument, this is the fulcrum of the complaint. And it's never addressed because it unravels a lot of threads, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. Because when whites collectivize, you get mustache man, right? Because it's not like whites ever collectivize for any reason, right, at all, ever before that or anything like that, right? And it's not like when the Moos collectivize, they ever do anything bad, right? I have it on good authority that what really went down in Gaza is that they actually went in there to like distribute candy and all their buildings just fell down by themselves, right? Like,
if you really want to know what's going on in Gaza, go to Israel. That's how you'll find out what's going on in Gaza. Talk to James Lindsay. Look, he has an unbiased view of what's happening. He went to the opposing team.
They're not going to let any fucking journalists into Gaza until they've rebuilt it, right? You do know that they're gonna bulldoze the entire freaking thing flat. They're gonna like set up. Like
I'm assuming what took so long with the Epstein files was everybody that's in it prepare what they're going to say.
I guess. Right? Yeah. Theodore McCarthy for $5. Thank you, mate. What'll really blow your mind is realizing Western civilization has been fighting Semitic civilization since at least 580 BC. These are old problems. Yeah, they are old problems.
That sounds fun.
They are really, really, really old problems. Bryce Gasper for Thank you very much. If you get a chance, look up Mr. Rabbit, AD 2032, very anti-citrus. I'll check
them up right now. Thank you.
And we got one more. Molokai again with another 50 sex. Thank you very much, mate. There are a lot of stories of Moos having children, even in Spain. The Holy Child of LaGuardia. Yeah, that is like a whole thing. There's like a whole book on it. But it's very spicy to talk about that. But thank you very much, Molokai. I
My
appreciate it.
channel thanks you for that, Fist. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Shall we get on?
Yeah. What's the time at?
The time is at 27:33.
We can go to 39:40.
39:40. There you go.
Tell you, he's not pitting himself against Moses. He's like, Moses spoke for God. He was a genuine prophet. But he's saying, you've heard it said, meaning all your rabbis, all your commentators, and the ways that they twisted and perverted Moses. But I'm going to get back to the source. And now we're 2,000 years removed even from that, with 6,000 page Talmud and all these different things where like you can drive around on the Sabbath because we put a wire outside of the city of Manhattan and that counts as a wall. And so technically you're never leaving your house because it's a big house. Cool. Like, and it's like, that is so Jewish, like that. Right. And so Judaism, I guess those two big things I would say. Number one, fundamentally a rejection of Christ, and Christ is the word. That's what I was trying to get at. In the beginning was the word was with God, and the word there, like even in the Greek, it's the logos. He is the logic, right? Faith, Christian faith and reason are not at odds with one another. And so like God made an orderly world because he's a God of order. He's a logical God. The rejection of the living logic is that if that's a fundamental characteristic of a people, those people are going to be wild, right? That's like really like, hey, we're starting a civilization. What's it founded on? The rejection of logic.
Yeah, I mean, you could put
Nick's smile right there. Look at how much you enjoyed that one.
I mean, you could put this another way, right? Which is that these are people at war with reality itself. And I think that's
actually more accurate.
I think that describes, I mean, Jordan
War
Peterson
is an important word to use.
Jordan Peterson was talking about this, like the moose is the people that wrestle with God. You don't wrestle with God. What the fuck are you talking about? You may as well like try and wrestle with a mountain or wrestle with a star.
Yeah, you don't wrestle with God. You correct God.
You
Logically,
wrestle.
you correct him.
You wrestle with demons is what you're not like what you got to like wrestle a mountain. You got to go up to Mount Everest and be like, come on, Mount Everest, right? Like, or you got to wrestle with reality. No, you're not.
Or like wrestle with the wind.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds like some gay martial art.
It sounds very James Lindsay, doesn't it? Wrestling with the wind.
Indeed. Wrestling with the wind.
Okay. And so like, what are you going to be doing? We're going to be clipping coins. That's not the only thing we're going to try to do. We'll also try to split the atom. The things that they gravitate towards is like, could we blow up? I mean, we can blow up a town, but could we blow up a whole country? Let's get our best scientists on it, and it's these kind of, and even so much of the wealth building is just, it's literally splitting the penny. Like, hey, a real transaction just took place where someone had a tangible good that they worked for and someone else bought it at a reasonable price. But what if us producing nothing could come in and take a piece of
Bitcoin? I'm sorry. Yeah. Do you think that possibly cryptocurrency or Bitcoin was moo so they could infinitely split the penny? Infinitely.
I mean, you can't infinitely split Bitcoin. There's like a
almost.
No.
You can really clip that coin.
No, you can't actually. In fact, I would say that Bitcoin is decidedly anti-mooish in this regard because you can't print more of it.
Oh, it's finite. Right? You're right.
It's finite, right? And it has a very, very strict emission protocol. If you wanted sort of a mooish cryptocurrency, like by those rules, you would want something that had like infinite emission, so you could just print as much of it as you want. That was like not controlled by any sort of mathematical process. And there are cryptocurrencies like that. A lot of the sort of shitcoin, the rug pull shitcoins are basically like that. Like you can just print as many of them as you want. Okay.
Somehow, but that's like, that is Jewish. That is the Pharisees. It's the heart of it. It's like, how can I gave someone my word, but I don't actually want to keep it. I swore by the temple. Oh, but I didn't swear by the gold of the temple, and Jesus is calling them out for this back then. But now it's been 2,000 years of rejecting him. And 2,000 years without even being able to practice biblical Judaism. There's no temple. There can be no sacrifice. And we think it would be better. So now, after rejecting Jesus for 1,900 years, right, coming to the end of the 19th century, now we're ready for a partnership, Judeo-Christian. It literally doesn't make any sense. I guess my question is, how did that switch? Like, because Europeans, Christians kind of knew what was up for a long time. Even the Protestants, right? Martin Luther, last book he wrote, The Jews and Their Lies, like he kind of knew what was up. Because they would go in, the Reformers, because the Vulgate, the Latin, Catholic Bible, the Reformers were pretty suspicious of you guys, and like, I think they changed some of the language. And so we need to go back to the original manuscripts and learn the Hebrew. Well, nobody knew the Hebrew. So the Reformers actually, kind of our fault a little bit, but like we kind of brought in some of the Jews.
Right.
It was entirely your fault. Sorry, Joel.
You can tell he was kind of coaching his language there, the way he said that. If you want to like rewind it like 5 or 10 seconds, I want to hear him deliver that again.
I don't want to, you know, but like, yeah, it's entirely the fault of the Protestants.
Let me know if his delivery suggests that he might know that.
Because Europeans, Christians kind of knew what was up for a long time. Even the Protestants, right? Martin Luther, last book he wrote, The Jews and Their Lies, you know, like he kind of knew what was up because they would go.
Luther knew what was up at the end of his life, right? The reason why Luther wrote that book just before he died was because all the rabbis had assured him that the Moors were going to convert. I don't know, like, why he was stupid enough to believe this, but he was. And then at the end of the life, end of his life, when he realized that they weren't going to convert and he'd been played, he wrote that book.
Go in the Reformers, because the Vulgate, the Latin, you know, Catholic Bible, the Reformers were pretty suspicious of you guys, you know, and like, I think they changed some of the language. And so we need to go back to the original manuscripts and learn the Hebrew. Well, nobody knew the Hebrew. So the Reformers actually,
there it is,
a little bit, but like, we kind of brought in some of the Jews.
Right. He had to switch a couple of things around in his head to go, let me just step over that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least he does acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And we brought them in because we needed them to teach us how to read the Hebrew because we didn't trust the Catholics. But then Luther, you know, once learning how to read the Hebrew, and I mean, that's one of the big things that Luther did was he put the Bible in the vulgar, right, just the common tongue of German, and which Catholics did not want people being able to read the Bible. I have some things that I could say about that, so he does it, and he makes some Jewish pals along the way. But now he can.
Catholics don't want people to read the Bible or something like that.
Yeah. So.
Oh, is that sola scriptura?
Yeah, no, well, sort of. Okay, so the way it existed before the Protestant Reformation was that only the priests should read the Bible. There was also like a lot of just weird stuff that the Catholics did. So, for example, before the Protestant Reformation, the rule was that only the priests could drink the wine, right? So the plebs got the host, like the bread. Was it really sort of a wafer actually at that point, right? And only the priest got to drink the wine. And this was like a huge deal. It's actually like sparked like an entire war in Bohemia, right? Like, man, the history of Christianity has so many freaking wars, right? This is why when everyone's like, oh, Christianity, man, is, you know, just about like loving each other and letting migrants steal your country. You're like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about, right? Like, you know, Christians can't really go to war, man. Do you even history, bro? Like, oh my God.
Well, okay, right. And so in the way that you're saying that, obviously I don't feel about liberalism like I do about Christianity. But then when I hear sometimes the criticisms of liberalism, it's like, well, you mean progressive liberalism. And then when you hear the criticisms of Christianity, you go, well, Judeo-Christianity is what you're referring to, right? These very bastardized versions of these concepts.
Okay, so the idea was that you shouldn't give the Bible to the plebs to read because they would mess it up. And the Protestants were like, that's BS, right? And, you know, the printing press sort of came around about this time as well. So you got like the Vulgate, which was, the reason it's called the Vulgate is because it was translated into the vulgar language, right? At that time, the Catholic Bible was entirely in Latin. Now, it turns out that the Catholics were correct, but at the same time, the Catholic Church at that time was notoriously corrupt. You know, they're doing stuff like selling indulgences, and you know what an indulgence is, Artie?
No.
So imagine this, right? Again, very, very mooish, right? You have like a relative, right, who's died, okay, right? And the priest sidles up to you and is like, they invented this idea of like purgatory, which isn't in the Bible. So this was one of the problems, right? The normal man couldn't read the Bible, right? And corrupt parts of the priesthood just started making stuff up, right?
Oh,
One
my
of the things they
God.
made up.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly, right? So the Protestants have a point here is what I'm getting at, right? So they made up this concept called purgatory, right? Which again is mooish, right? Like the under Moodaism, right? Like
What if there's something in between those two things, though? You know, what if it's not just one or the other?
Hell is not eternal. Gehenna is not eternal under Moodaism. You might just be there for a small time to atone for your sins. So the Catholic idea of purgatory was that if you'd sinned, you'd have to like hang out in purgatory, which was basically a sort of nothing before you could gain admission to heaven. But there was a way you could shorten your loved one's time in purgatory. Do you know what it was?
Okay. What was
Pay
it?
money. you pay money, right?
No.
Right?
This
Yeah.
is Catholic?
Oh yeah, this is Catholic, right?
Oh boy.
And then you get this idea of like indulgences where you can basically like pay to have like certain sins forgiven, right? And
This is interesting.
this corruption like really pissed off the common people. And again, it's that sort of like straw man thing, right? Like the Catholics sort of corrupted Christianity, and then everyone rebelled against it. And like, I don't want to be like, that wasn't real Christianity, but really,
I mean, is that really a contentious thing to say? Would a Catholic go, "Shut up, heretic"? Whatever we did was right.
And as Arden Party points out, I believe he's correct. It was one of the Borgia popes that came up with this, right? So the papacy in Rome just got incredibly corrupt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the money laundering, assassinations, poisonings, messing around sexually with your relatives. Like,
what are we talking about? Israel?
So the Protestants had a point. The Catholic Church was like massively corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
The Catholics also had a point, because once you gave the Bible to the normies, right, many of whom were not very well educated,
Mm-hmm.
You got all kinds of like just weird spin-off religions, right? Like the Anabaptists and like, so yeah, both sides had a point. It was messy. Yeah.
Nice.
Right. Nice.
That's gonna stick
Read
with
and
me.
speak
Thank
Hebrew.
you.
And so then he's like, well, let's read your book. And reads the Talmud and is like, what the?
Right.
And that's what kept happening with the reformers, is like they would befriend Jews to help them get back to the original Hebrew for Bible translations and different languages and commentaries and things like that. And then they would take that knowledge now that the Jews gave them, and then they would read the Jewish religious texts, and then they would kick out the Jews.
Right.
And it became, kind of just a cycle of happening again and again. But the point is, the Catholics, even the reformers, especially the early ones like Luther, Europeans, not non-Christian Europeans, everybody kind of was like, yeah, the Jews are not our greatest ally.
Right.
Until what happened? What's that until piece? Like, why did all of a sudden we do an about face?
I think by definition, it's liberalism. I think it was the advent of liberalism, because what emancipated the Jews was revolutionary France. It was a Napoleonic legal code, and he recreated the Sanhedrin in Paris, literally recreated the Jewish leadership. And it went back and forth. There was some pushback on the emancipation. And so the record of Napoleon is somewhat mixed on them. But I think it all goes back to the fall of the kings, the fall of the Catholic kings or the Christian kings of Europe. Because you're right, they called them disputations. The king would summon the rabbis and they would summon the scholars. Originally, Judeo-Christian meant a Jew that became a Christian.
Right.
But by the way, if you guys are like interested in this, you should check out my channel. I've got like a whole thing on the disputation of Paris, which was when King Philip, I forget his number, King Philip put the Talmud on trial in Paris. These disputations were going on like again and again and again, because essentially what would happen is that you'd get like a Moo who'd like convert to Christianity, or this guy Elias Pfefferkorn, I think his name was. No, Donin, right? This guy Donin. He was a Karaite Jew, right? So they believed in the Torah, right? Not the Talmud. Big difference. And he converted to Christianity and then went around like telling all the Christians, like, man, have you checked out the Talmud? There's some like crazy stuff in there. It's a very, very long, complicated, and fascinating history. Hang on, wait a second. We got a super chat.
Did we nay?
Thank you very much. Theodore McCarthy again for $10. The King James Bible is based its Old Testament on the Masoretic text, which is a 7th century Jewish translation, instead of the Septuagint, the 3rd century BC Greek translation, which was originally used by the church. Correct. Wow. And because Hebrew became a dead language after the destruction of the temple, and because Hebrew has no vowels, they had to just make a bunch of stuff up, right? Like imagine you're going back in time and you're looking at ancient text and it's got no vowels,
right?
And you've got to like just make all this stuff up. And so the fact that the Christians around Luther's time, right, like trusted the Masoretes, and the Masoretes were like, we've actually got like the original version. No, the original version is the Greek, the Septuagint. Stone Choir is like good on this. Molokai for another 20 secs.
Thank you, bro.
Ho wrote the Bible. I don't know if you would say like a ho wrote the Bible, bro. You know, right?
He's having a long night, okay?
Who wrote the Bible? I mean, right, you know, sort of, I guess, a bunch of like people. It's divinely inspired is the idea. NPC for 2 Canadian loonies. Thank you very much. I admit my faults. I admit indulgence paid. Well,
boom.
Thank you
That
very
easy.
much.
Redemption. That's what we mean by redemption, right? See, he said the words.
You will now spend 3 months less time in purgatory after you die.
That's no Christian I've ever met. I'll put it to you that way, okay?
Oh, it's so grotesque, man. Like the way the Catholic Church like wound up. Like I can really understand like where the Protestants were like coming from. But you know, it turned out badly, right? Like you know, history, man. Like, okay, let's go on.
And these so-called Judeo-Christians would alert the Christians at the time, like today, they saw the Jews as like the older brother,
right?
Like, oh well, they're brothers in the faith. They didn't understand.
But then a Jew would convert.
The Jew would convert.
And he'd be like, actually, this is what we've been saying about you this whole time. And the Christians were like, what?
Yeah. And then they would burn the Talmud across Paris, Spain, Italy. And what was interesting is a few years back when the Notre Dame Cathedral caught fire, there were some prominent rabbis that said this is revenge for the burning of the Talmud in Paris 700 years ago.
Yeah.
Which,
they don't forget.
No. And what's funny about that is, of course,
You want to know who else holds a grudge? A lot of the progressive liberals, don't they, with slavery and whatnot? And
yeah, well, there's no
the grudge holding is just it feels very unbelievably mooish. And then, of course, they don't mean all white people, and this is where it got mooed up. They mean whiteness as a structure, not as a people. That's what they started to alter it in the West.
Well, there isn't really any forgiveness, right? Like for Gentiles, as far as I can discern.
Well, we're animals, right? We're not,
you know, right? Like,
people.
yeah. There's no sort of forgiveness like baked in, right? You would think if it was, you know, a bunch of Christians after 700 years, you'd be like, well, you know, okay, fucking, you know, it was a long time ago, water under the bridge. Like, no. But you know, the moves are like, I actually I think there's something to be said with the idea that a lot of the crazy shit that befell France after the disputation, the revolution, all this kind of other stuff is probably revenge for because when they say they burned the Talmud in Paris, they didn't just burn one copy, they burnt like thousands of them, right? And this is before the printing press.
Trying to delete the hard drive.
These were all like handcrafted manuscripts,
right?
Like, yeah, it was huge. The moves were very, very, very pissed off.
So everyone blamed it on the Muslims.
You can go to 4805.
4805. Okay.
Bible and the Christian religion is just a moral skin suit on the raw power of the kings, of the absolute monarchs of Europe. And Spinoza's family undermined the Spanish king, the French king. It was always a critique of Christian power, always a critique of the Christian monarchs. And what's interesting is that even today, you look at some of the prominent Jews in the right wing, like let's say Joe Lonsdale, talked about this in another show too. Who does he idolize? Cyrus, who is the Messiah for the Jews. Curtis Yarvin, who does he idolize? Oliver Cromwell, who led the Protestant Republic in England, who let the Jews return to England against the monarchy, against the Christian monarchy of England. He wanted a liberal republic. So what you tend to find, and I haven't done enough of the deep dive, but for 500 years, you tend to find that attacks on the authority of the monarch, which comes from God, like the divine right of kings, liberalism, and the Jewish community, these things always tend to go together. They always tend to converge, whether it's Amsterdam, Paris, London, St. Petersburg in 1917, it's always the same. And so I would say that modernity, the Enlightenment, and the ascendancy of the Jews, these things are all happening reciprocally.
That's insightful. Like I said earlier, I think liberalism is one of the greatest enemies that we have right now in terms of like an ideology. And the engine of liberalism seems to be egalitarianism, the complete flattening of every natural distinction that God made into the world.
Now to be fair, doesn't that come from Protestantism though? That aspect of liberalism.
Sort of, but see, again, as I was, and even as Joel Webbon admitted, there is a lot of Moodyism mixed in with Protestantism, unfortunately, right?
Right.
You see this throughout history that these mooish concepts keep getting like loaded into Christianity, right? So like, for instance, the idea that heaven, rather than being sort of this like, you know, place that you go after you die that is completely removed from the earth, right? Becomes like a place you can create on earth, right? That's not a Christian idea. That's a mooish idea.
Right.
The idea that you can influence when the Messiah comes back.
No. Hold on. James Lindsay would say it's Hegelian. Okay.
Oh, fuck off. Right. That's not a Christian idea. The Christian idea is like, no man knows the day or the hour, right? Like, you know, you should be attentive, but nothing you do is going to change the time at which Jesus returns, right? Like if you're
out of
really
your
into that,
control.
it's out of your control, right? It is the mooish idea, right, that your actions on earth can influence the coming
Main
of
character syndrome times 1,000.
Yeah, basically. Also in the chat, I put a link to my video on the Disputation of Paris if you guys are like interested, because a lot of this stuff is about it. Also, where did liberalism and the Enlightenment come from? It came from the French Revolution, right? And what happened in the French Revolution? There was like a violent sort of proto-communist overthrow where a bunch of secret societies engineered like the complete destruction of the French Empire. It was preceded by a whole bunch of like money printing. So I'm just saying, right? Like there's some crazy shit about like ancien regime.
Well, and so when, you know, when they, in the same way that if I blamed Christianity for something, you're like, well, that's a pretty long story there. And with liberalism, I feel like it's not a religion. It's not like people weren't doing something in the name of liberalism, I feel like. Right?
No, well, they sort of were, right? Like if you look at the French Revolution.
Oh, by the way, I pinned your disputation in chat.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
If you look at the French Revolution, right, like things were going pretty bad for the ancien regime, right? Which was under like, I don't know, the 5th King Louis, okay, by this point, okay.
Mm-hmm.
The elites had sort of separated entirely from the rest of the country. They were all running around like, you know, doing like literally Epstein tier like shit, right? Like there's a scandal called the something of the poisons, the scandal of the poisons, I think, where like it was discovered that like most of the French high court were going around like, you know, seeing like witch doctors and doing like, you know, bad like stuff and poisoning each other and Epstein tier kind of like stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the country sort of basically decayed. And of course, the interesting thing is, if you look into the history, there's no mooish involvement. But how would you know, right? Not even Protestants were allowed anywhere near the Catholic king. So it's not like anyone would be able to be like, oh yes, I'm, you know, hi there, you know, my name is like, you know, Schmoy, like Finkelbaum, right? Like I'm here to see the king. No. So it's these things were like vulnerable to subversion, and then the sort of stratification of society and the monetary policy caused the ancien regime to like start to sort of flip over, and then the communists came along and basically promised you know, equality, you know, liberty, like liberté, égalité, fraternité. So it was liberty, equality, and brotherhood, right? You know, it's same shit they always dangle, right? Once you give us control, once we've overthrown the government, everything will be fine. And it wasn't fine, right? It was much less than fine. So what you find is that they always dangle this idea of a heaven on earth, essentially.
Yes.
And then once they get power, they make everything 100 billion times worse.
Well, right, and the heaven on earth is the equality, equity, which is not liberalism. So,
Correct.
like, right, and so I, you know, I feel like they want us to bicker over liberalism when we could just have like a more reasoned discussion about it instead of like casting on the right, being like, hey, fucking liberal and whatnot. And it's like, well, you know, I understand calling myself a liberal. It's not meant to confuse people. I'm defective in that, right? I don't like to preface things and go, well, let me really like tell people what I mean. Like, well, I guess they'll figure it out or they won't. But with
it was never going to be liberalism, right? It was never going to be everyone is equal under the law, right? It was never going to be everyone has the same rights, because the carve out is implicit, right? It's already baked in. what you wind up doing is you replace one hierarchy that is stated and easy to see.
Yeah.
Right? You've got like the king, you've got the nobles, right? Like you know where your place is in the hierarchy. With
Yeah.
another hierarchy in which power is concealed, right? And everyone goes around saying like, "Oh, citizen, we are all equal," but you're not. Like
right. So
you're
we,
not.
We could agree that okay. So the way that liberalism is susceptible to this is that liberalism is a denial of human nature and reality in that regard. We would say, right?
Yeah, yeah. And
Right.
look, you could make a very, very good argument that one of the big problems with these stratified hierarchy systems, like the ones that characterize Ancien regime in France, is that there was basically no social mobility. Okay, right? And this is in my opinion, a very proper critique from an elite theory point of view, right? If there's no social mobility whatsoever, you're going to have like
Rebel
real
at some point.
serious problems. The Chinese got around this, by the way, like very, very easily, right? By just having this thing, what do they call it? Chat, some of you will know, there was like this exam that the Chinese government had, right? And anyone could take it. And if you got really high marks in the exam, you were in and you could get a government post. It was very, very meritocratic.
Okay.
And the Chinese, the Qing, is it the Qing dynasty? Basically survived like 1,000 years under this system as a way of enabling some social mobility based purely on merit. The imperial exam, Novum Republic. Thank you very much. We have the best goddamn
I think
chat.
it's 100% of the time someone in the chat can call upon what you're saying. I don't
Man,
think it ever
I
fails.
love our chat. I love our chat. Thank you very, very. Wait, what was that? What was that guy's name? Novum Republic. Thank you very much, Kevin 11. The Confucius test. Yeah. So you need to have some kind of like social mobility, right? So that people with ability can actually become part of the ruling class.
To support what you're saying, in terms of how we had voting, it was restricted, right?
Yes.
And so they want it to be unrestricted in order to essentially cause chaos and destruction.
Yeah, basically, right? And this is the thing, right? Like even in the French Revolution, right? You had like reformers who would come along and they'd be like, okay, like, we hear some of your like grievances, we're going to like reform it in like a certain way. But the commies, of course, are like, it's never enough. It's never fast enough, right? Like, we need, and the thing about the French Revolution is that the same as today, the people that got elevated were like literally the most fucking spiteful mutants you could imagine, right? There was this guy called, oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? Murat. Right, Murat. Okay, there's a really, really famous painting of him by David, and this guy, right, was like a sort of angry gnome, sort of like not literally a gnome, but like filled with spite, covered in like skin diseases and sores. Right, he basically spent his entire time like in a bath, right, because of his skin sores, and he wrote this newspaper. Right, that was basically like, oh, we have to kill the bourgeoisie. We have to like blah, 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 something that would become like very, very common in later communist revolutions. Right, he actually got assassinated. I think because he sent somebody off to the, well, not the gulag back then, like the guillotine. And when he died, he became like a national hero, right? David, like Jacques-Louis David, the famous sort of, propaganda painting of the painter of the French Revolution, immortalized him in this like incredible painting, it's the same thing. That's why it's always the French Revolution again and again.
I hear you say
again.
that constantly. So there's before the French Revolution and then after, essentially, right? That's like, it's almost like two different periods in history.
Yeah. Because the tactics that were perfected in the French Revolution are the same tactics you see just again and like
things feel like they keep happening the same way over and over again. That's why nothing ever happened. That's where that feeling kind of comes from.
Yep. All of this like Ice Watch stuff, like BLM, where they like throw up the barricades and try and paralyze the city, and no, it's all the French Revolution. It's just again and again and again. And the only way around it is through serious coordinated military force. But you got to be careful, because like that was one of the things that actually touched off the proper French Revolution when they stormed the palace.
Sure. There's gonna be risk. Okay, no one gives a shit about the fucking risk at this point. Okay, people in the UK give a fuck about the risk. Australia, like Canada, fellas. fellas in the chat, you give a fuck about the risk of trying to fucking defeat this thing at this point? That's what's starting to happen, you know?
And this isn't a super chat, but I would like to point out this X4 link. It's weird how the French Revolution was precipitated by a broke-ass Catholic monarch taking too many mooish loans. Many such cases. Many, many, many such cases by this point, right? If you look up the Rothschilds on the Mooish Encyclopedia, and you just look at all of the loans that the Rothschilds like issued to like various countries and like royal families, it is freaking insane, right? Like most of the time they were on both sides of a war. They'd be like literally lending money to like both sides.
You mean the globalists are on both sides of the war? The global elites
Correct.
are on both sides. Yeah.
Correct. It's the globalists and the Chi-Coms. Yeah.
So let's wind this down at an hour and 2 minutes.
Oh, that was a bit of fucking autism. Right.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone hated it. I'm sure everybody was so bored.
I don't feel proper unless I've had like a good tism. So what's the time step I'm going to?
1 hour, 2 minutes.
1 hour, 2 minutes. Okay, right.
Is to race and racism.
Yeah.
The same applies to, I think, when it comes to the Jews, because really, when you think about it, Jew and Gentile is a whole other category besides ethnicity and race.
Right.
Because Jews, they distinguish themselves from every other group as a classification.
Right.
They don't say like, well, there's Jews and then there's Persians and then there's Egyptians. They say, no, there's the Jews and then there's the nations.
This is where this comes
and we're
from.
against them. And
this is POC. It just means not a white person. Gentile just means not a moo. That is where that comes from, unquestionably.
Yep. Yeah, precisely. Right. Like there's, I mean, and look,
hyperpolarization.
Even the term Pharisee, right, comes from the root word is to be set apart from, right? It's like, and this is the thing, they want it both ways, right? They want to be they simultaneously
like a
want
woman?
to be set apart,
Yeah,
but they also want to be a part of, and then when anything goes wrong, like retreat back to being not a part. You know what I mean? Like it's
in a spiritual sense are higher. We're chosen. They are beasts that look like people.
Right.
And so when you have someone like a Norm Finkelstein, for example, like he criticizes the genocide in Gaza and Israel, but somebody gets up and says there's a Zionist occupation regime and he walks away.
Right.
It says that's anti-Jewish, that's anti-Semitic. And it's like, on some level, they're always going to be Jewish.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that you hate them.
Right.
And it doesn't mean you can't be friends with them or admire them. Like I get crap for saying this, but I have many Jewish friends. Most of them are Catholic converts. And they still play fast and loose with the truth. They still have some very Jewish characteristics.
I really believe that.
You're fucked.
Bro.
Very believable.
Molokai for another 20 secs. Thank you very much, Molokai. We love the autism. Oh,
yeah, I knew it. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's very nice.
Also,
they're bright.
Let me just address something real quick. Blasini, Artie's not conservative, but he's constantly saying he's right-wing. Right literally refers to the side conservatives sat on. Well, it would be dishonest for me to call myself a Christian or to call myself a conservative when this is still rather new to me. It's not like I've had this position for a long time. So as I'm having an awakening of my consciousness to a lot of things that are happening, I feel that it's responsible to align myself on the right. But what am I conserving? Right? So like, I understand the criticism, but I do not fear seeing how much the moos and left contradict themselves on the right. I don't fear I have no fear of contradicting myself as I'm trying to figure out like exactly what direction I want to go in. I know it's on the right wing. So I'm trying to put any label on it in a general fashion. But I welcome any and all criticism. So thank you.
Yet another thing that came out of the French Revolution, by the way, the left versus right thing. You know that?
Yeah. I keep hearing that. Yeah, but there's no other way to talk about it nowadays.
I agree. Right. But it's correct because during the French Revolution, you had the progressives on one side who wanted to do a heckin' wholesome chungus communism, right? And you had the other people who were like, no, we don't want to do this, right? The reactionary. So, because of the way progressivism works and because it's always dragging everyone to like a fucking wholesome chungus future, it's relevant. We keep going with this?
Yeah, for a little bit.
Okay.
Innovative. Like I like them a lot. They're good people, but there are certain gaps that you can never fully bridge.
Right.
And as a whole, on the whole, the Jewish community, like you said, they can't turn their back on 3,000 years of
Correct.
tradition, culture, theology, history, and their story, which is we're under siege by the nations, persecuted for all time for who we are. It's us against the world.
Ultimate
You never fully
neurosis.
get past that,
Right.
nor can they. And that's okay. But we need to kind of
Yeah, but the thing is, right? They've made such a good go of it, right? Like I really like again, I kind of got to give them respect, right? Like the way they've managed to like keep their shit together over such a long period of time. It's actually really, really funny if you look at I think it was Mendel Schneerson, the guy from Chabad, who was like once asked about the Holi. And he said, oh, well, you know, it mainly got the progressive moves, right, who didn't like keep to tradition. So actually like it's okay, right? Like, you know, they managed to keep their shit together for like a really long time. And you know,
well, what usually will happen will fuck someone over is being honest in any capacity, and they take advantage of anyone's honesty. They're like, look at this sucker being honest over here.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Like, but they, you know, they believe in, I guess, honesty amongst themselves. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're not allowed to like, you can't lend money.
No. It's very similar. The black community is a microcosm of the moose. Okay, like when it like the blacks will spend all day long killing each other, right? But when it comes down to it, they're going to align with themselves. Okay, moose fuck each other over all the time. It's accepted. They just don't air their quote unquote dirty laundry.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Psychodemics Agent for €5.
Thank you, bruv.
The corruption regarding indulgences was simony, charging money for spiritual things, a much older and long banned practice. The theological debate is distinct. Thank you very much, Psychodemics Agent. I believe he is correct. Simony is a heresy like that. Yeah, man. See, we have the best fucking chat, man. Right? So why I love chat, because you know you're trying to like juggle this like complicated stuff like while you're live streaming. It's like blah 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 blah. Always rely on the chat to like give you extra context.
I know, but they have 100% succession rate, even with some pretty obscure stuff, right? These are not widely talked about things necessarily.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose they can always like just pull up. You know, they've got access to the internet.
They're fucking quick,
you know,
though.
Oh, they are
It's not like you have to wait that long.
Right.
Oh my dear Lord! Hold on. Don Lemon got released without bail. Yeah.
Was it ever
bail.
in doubt?
Was it ever in doubt? Oh my God. Jeez, what was that? A few hours? He has to go to he has to go to the Grammys. So he's like, make it happen. You know?
Oh, is he gonna be at the? If he makes it to the Grammys,
that's gonna be a whole thing.
They're gonna like, they're literally gonna like do the meme from Game of Thrones, except in reverse, right? They'll be like carrying him, and there'll be all of these white hands like reaching out to him, being like, "Oh, Don, let me give you a blowy, Don."
Oh my God! I just pictured that in my head. It was perfect. And we got a little Fellarini over here, dude, sweet with 5 gifted rhetorically effective memberships. Thank you very much appreciated.
Thank you very
Go to the post on the channel and you will see a playlist that has all of the live streams without any ads at all whatsoever. It's way funner to listen when you don't have to listen to any ads and if you don't have YouTube Premium. Also, if you are a member and you listen to a members only video, for some reason, the feedback I've been given is that it doesn't play the video in the background. So go to this playlist so you can play everything like a normal human, and then your experience is not impacted at all. It's digital content like your mom used to make, okay? Full-grown content. We can just dial this down here. All right.
Okay.
Your way out.
Okay. Look at that freeze frame of Nick.
He's elated. How long has he waited to talk about these things? Such a large audience. It's not just his audience.
So we gonna wrap up then?
Yeah, we might as well wrap up.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming, bros. It has been wonderful as always. We have the best fellas. We enjoy the fellas. Some people are like, no, don't stop. No, I'm afraid 3 hours is about my limit, bro.
Yeah, the quality of the product starts to starts to lessen. Okay. Any stream I've done that you've seen that's 5 or 6 or 7 hours, you'll see why it's behind a paywall. Okay. It's not meant for public consumption when I'm on hour 4 and 5. All right.
Thank you so much, everyone who super chatted. Molokai, take care of yourself, mate. I hope you're not too hungover in the morning. We have the best fellas. We'll be back on. Well, you've got a stream tomorrow night about the PF Young thing, right?
Yes. About a topic I do know about, which is me and somebody saying something about me that is not true. And I'm going to really carve out some positions. And I mean, there's nothing else to go into because I've already made a video. Showing how he will call someone a Nazi and then bring up my name as if I made any sort of argument, blah, 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 blah. And so, yeah, the solo streams people really seem to like. And that's going to be a really fun one because it's kind of like a drama stream, I'm becoming a guy. It's weird that they're talking about me. Like I wouldn't think like a year ago that like PF Young and Ben Boyce are going to like talk about me on stream. It's still new for me. I'll never feel like a content creator or a guy on the internet. I in my brain, I guess it's not imposter syndrome, but like I don't feel that much different, right? Like I just now have people listening to me when I'm being completely mischaracterized, and I really like to carve out my positions, not really with titles, but with fruit, so to speak.
Yeah, well, that's how you're having an impact, man. You know what I mean, right? Like your spiciness has traversed the world.
Yeah, and got Ben Boyce's fucking wife in trouble, apparently. I don't know.
Man.
That happened, man.
Poor Ben. God, I hope he's all right. All right, so yes, and we'll be back on Tuesday. And,
probably with some Epstein-y stuff,
Yeah, probably with some Epstein-y stuff. And check out Fistery on Monday. We will be continuing my series about the Black Death. I think we're going to do like England this episode. Jolly England, I say, old chap, is that a bubo? Yes, I rather think it is a bubo. I might be dying, oh, nasty job that. that is a real discussion. That absolutely
and Harden Party, please share the stream. The algo hates these guys more than the moose hate tipping. Unbelievable. Thank you so much. All right, fellas. Got the best, fellas. Have a great night.
Good night.
All your rabbis, all your commentators, and the ways that they twisted and perverted Moses. And now we're 2,000 years removed even from that. 6,000 page Talmud and all these different things where like you can drive around on the Sabbath because we put a wire outside of the city of Manhattan and that counts as a wall. And so technically you're never leaving your house because it's a big house. Cool. And it's like, that is so Jewish.
Artie and Fist. Artie and Fist. You can be sure that they're both on a list. Artie and Fist. Artie and Fist. You can be sure that we make unleash this. Stream it through history. I'm covering mysteries as to why the whites are living in misery. We keep the audience salivating as we continue navigating through centuries of adventures of the ever-evolving small hat wizardry.
Here's more footage of Alex Preddy reaching into his pants and flinging feces at ICE agents.
Artie and Fist. Artie and Fist. Let us show you what you might have missed.
But we also do recognize that they are subversive because they're disconnected from Christ, they're disconnected from God.